वो आदमी ये कह रहा है कि अनंत सिंह के लोगों ने ऐसा किया है, इस वजह से प्रशासन के सामने एक भारी दबाव था। और अभी देखिए, एक सप्ताह से भी कम का वक्त है वोटिंग में, तो अगर अनंत सिंह की गिरफ्तारी नहीं होती तो एक बड़ा मुद्दा बन सकता था। आज भी तेजस्वी यादव जो है, आरजेडी की जो उम्मीदवार हैं वीणा देवी, उनके पक्ष में प्रचार करने मोकामा पहुंचने वाले हैं। तो ये लगातार मुद्दा बनता जा रहा है। एक तरफ वीणा देवी है, दूसरी तरफ अनंत सिंह है। दोनों बाहुबलियों के बीच सीधा मुकाबला इस बार। अनंत सिंह बनाम वीणा देवी जो है वो सूरजभान सिंह की पत्नी है। तो आज तेजस्वी यादव भी वहां पहुंचने वाले थे। लगातार हमने वहां एसपी से बात की, हमने वहां डीआईजी से बात की, डीजीपी से बात की। डीजीपी क्राइम मौका वारदात पर पहुंचे थे, एफएसएल की टीम वहां पर थी। लगातार साक्ष्य जुटाए जा रहे हैं और यह गिरफ्तारी हुई है। इसके बाद कल पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट में कई खुलासे हुए। पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट में डॉक्टर ने यह कहा कि गोली लगने से मौत नहीं हुई है, लेकिन साथ ही उन्होंने यह कहा कि मल्टीपल फ्रैक्चर है और फेफड़ा फटने की वजह से मौत हुई है। पसलियां टूटी हैं शरीर पर, एक दो नहीं बल्कि कई जगहों पर जख्म थे। 12 से ज्यादा एक्सरे कराए गए हैं। तो आप समझे स्थिति क्या थी। यह सीधे तौर पर मर्डर था। इसके साथ डॉक्टर भी, प्रशासन का भी यह मानना है कि गोली तो चलाई गई है, गोली चलाने के बाद गाड़ी चढ़ी है। क्योंकि जब हमने डॉक्टर से बात की कि मौत कैसे हुई दुलारचंद यादव की, तो डॉक्टर ने कहा कि भारी भरकम कुछ चीज ऊपर से गुजरी है। तो सीधे तौर पर जो स्थानीय लोग पहले कह रहे हैं कि थार गाड़ी से पहले जब वो बाहर निकले, बाहर उन्हें निकाला गया दुलारचंद यादव को, और जैसे उन्हें बाहर निकाला गया उसके बाद दुलारचंद यादव के पैर में गोली लगती है। दुलारचंद यादव वहां पर गिर जाते हैं और उसके बाद वहां पर जो उनके समर्थक थे उन्होंने वहां दुलारचंद यादव जो हैं बाहर निकलते हैं, उनके पैर में गोली लगती है। तो उसके बाद उनके साथ मारपीट की जाती है, बुरी तरह से मारा जाता है, पत्थर फेंके जाते हैं, फिर गाड़ी चढ़ा दी जाती है। तो ये तमाम चीजें वहां पर नजर आई। अब मुश्किल ये है कि ये मामला जो है ये सीधे तौर पर सियासी मामला बन गया। लगातार इस मामले को लेकर जो है आरोप प्रत्यारोप चल रहे हैं। आज तेजस्वी यादव पहुंचने वाले हैं, तो जाहिर है कि ये मामला सियासत में भी गरमाएगा। लॉ एंड ऑर्डर पर बड़ा सवाल ये मामला खड़ा कर रहा है। और दूसरी तरफ अगर हम गौर करें, जिस तरीके से दुलारचंद यादव की हत्या के बाद ये तमाम चीजें चल रही हैं, तो उस बीच प्रशासन के सामने एक बड़ी जिम्मेदारी, एक बड़ी चुनौती वहां पर सीधे तौर पर नजर आई। जी
ये भी बताइए कि चूंकि अनंत सिंह जेडीयू
आप तक आवाज पहुंच रही है?
जी हम आपको सुन पा रहे हैं। अमृत, ये बताइए कि क्योंकि अनंत सिंह जो है वो जेडीयू के उम्मीदवार हैं, तो क्या कोई प्रतिक्रिया उधर से आई है, क्योंकि पार्टी की तरफ से आई है, क्योंकि अब उनकी गिरफ्तारी हो गई है? और ये भी बताइए कि इस गिरफ्तारी से मौका में जो चुनावी समीकरण है वो क्या बदल सकते हैं आगे?
बिल्कुल मैं दोनों चीजें आपको बताता हूं। चुनावी समीकरण पर बात करेंगे, लेकिन उससे पहले आपने कहा रिएक्शन आपको बता दूं। जैसे ये हत्याकांड होता है, उसके बाद बिहार के पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री और हिंदुस्तानी आवाम मोर्चा के जो नेता हैं जीतन राम मांझी, केंद्रीय मंत्री, उनका बयान सामने आया, चिराग पासवान का बयान सामने आया, बीजेपी के कई नेताओं के बयान सामने आए। तो ये नहीं है कि जेडीयू या एनडीए की तरफ से रिएक्शन सामने नहीं आए। सभी ने लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को लेकर अपनी बात रखी है। हाँ, अगर हम सियासी बात करें तो जो विरोधी हैं, तेजस्वी यादव, वो खुलकर कह रहे हैं कि क्योंकि दुलारचंद यादव जो है, एक समीकरण वहां पर बन रहा था। आपने बिल्कुल सही सवाल किया कि मोकामा में एक समीकरण, जो अभी हमने लोगों से बात की है, तो एक समीकरण कास्ट बेस जो है वो यहां पर है। यादव बनाम भूमिहार की लड़ाई भी बताई जा रही है इसे। अब दुलारचंद यादव यादव जाति से हैं और तेजस्वी यादव ने इसे सीधे तौर पर बड़ा मुद्दा बताया। तेजस्वी यादव तो कह रहे हैं कि आप जंगल राज की बात कर रहे हैं, जंगल राज यही तो है, और क्या है, आपके शासनकाल में लॉ एंड ऑर्डर बेहतर नहीं है। तो इस मामले को लेकर जो महागठबंधन के नेता हैं वो लगातार घेर रहे हैं। लेकिन सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि जेडीयू और बीजेपी की तरफ से भी रिएक्शन सामने आ रहे हैं लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को लेकर। और अगर हम समीकरणों की बात करें तो निश्चित तौर पर मोकामा में जो हुआ है उसने पूरे बिहार को एक बड़ा संदेश दिया है। दूसरी तरफ अगर हम देखें तो मोकामा का सियासी समीकरण भी काफी इस बार अलग है, क्योंकि इस बार एक तरफ अनंत सिंह है जिनकी बाहुबली की छवि है, सूरजभान सिंह की पत्नी वीणा देवी है, सूरजभान सिंह की छवि भी बाहुबली की है, जिनकी हत्या हुई है दुलारचंद यादव, उनकी छवि भी बाहुबली की ही थी। तो ये बाहुबली बनाम बाहुबली का मुकाबला है। और इस बार दुलारचंद यादव की हत्या के बाद अगर हम समीकरणों पर गौर करें तो स्थानीय लोग जो है वो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को एक बड़ा मुद्दा मान रहे हैं। इसके साथ मुश्किल ये है कि इस चुनाव में दुलारचंद यादव की हत्या होती है, महज एक सप्ताह का जो वक्त होता है उसी वक्त, और तब जब वो जनसुराज पार्टी के उम्मीदवार जो है पीयूष प्रियदर्शी उनके चुनाव प्रचार में निकले हुए थे और पीयूष प्रियदर्शी के साथ वो प्रचार कर रहे थे, उनकी हत्या हुई। लेकिन उसके बाद देखिए सियासत क्या है, पीयूष प्रियदर्शी शव यात्रा में शामिल होते हैं, लेकिन जिस ट्रैक्टर पर यह डेड बॉडी ले जाई जा रही थी उस ट्रैक्टर पर महिला उम्मीदवार जो है वीणा देवी सूरजभान सिंह की पत्नी वो बैठ जाती हैं। तो जब लोगों से हमने बात की तो उन्होंने कहा कि भले ही दुलारचंद यादव प्रचार कर रहे हो पीयूष प्रियदर्शी के पक्ष में, लेकिन वीणा देवी ने ट्रैक्टर पर बैठकर काफी हद तक ये सहानुभूति वोट और इस मामले में दुलारचंद यादव के समर्थकों का वोट अपने पाले में कर लिया। लेकिन इतना आसान नहीं है, क्योंकि वहां पर अनंत सिंह की भी छवि है, अनंत सिंह के सपोर्टर्स हैं, अनंत सिंह को मानने वाले हैं, उनको चाहने वाले हैं, तो मुकाबला दिलचस्प है। अब देखना होगा तेजस्वी यादव पहुंचते हैं।
Political equations is likely to change with the arrest of Anant Singh there. Thank you so much, Amrit, for bringing us all the updates on that big story. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on in the bulletin, viewers. The Karnataka Chief Minister has stirred up a row as he alleges the state to have neglected Kannada in its bid to impose a Hindi, and he has also called upon the local residents to fight up the central regime of imposing a language upon the country amid much resistance. Here's a quick report.
Karnataka erupts in chaos. Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah accused the centre of neglecting Kannada and imposing Hindi, while calling upon the people of the state to oppose those who are anti-Kannada. During his Saturday address on the occasion of State Foundation or the Rajyotsava Day, he said the federal government is meting out stepmotherly treatment to Karnataka.
ಕಾಣುತ್ತಿದೆ ಕೇಂದ್ರದ ಈ ತಾರತಮ್ಯಗಳ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಇಡೀ ನಾಡು ಸಂವಿಧಾನಾತ್ಮಕವಾಗಿ ನಿಂತು ಪ್ರತಿಭಟಿಸದೆ ಹೋದರೆ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಅಪೋಷಣ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಲಾಗುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಇದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸೌಹಾರ್ದ ಪರಂಪರೆಗೆ ಕೋಮುವಾದಿ ಶಕ್ತಿಗಳು ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಇಚ್ಛಾಶಕ್ತಿಗಾಗಿ ನಿರಂತರವಾಗಿ ವಿಷ ಹಾಕುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಭಾರತವನ್ನು ಹಿಟ್ಲರ್ನ ಜರ್ಮನಿ, ಮುಸೋಲಿನಿ ಇಟಲಿ, ಫ್ರಾಂಕೋನ ಸ್ಪೇನ್ ಮಾಡಲು ಹೊರಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಂಥ ದುಷ್ಟತನಗಳ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಹೊಸ ತಲೆಮಾರು ಧ್ವನಿ ಎತ್ತಬೇಕು. ಎಲ್ಲ ಧರ್ಮಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಮೂಲಭೂತವಾದಿಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕೋಮುವಾದಿಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ದ್ವೇಷವಾದಕ್ಕೆ ಯುವಜನರು ಬಲಿಯಾಗಬಾರದು. ವೈಚಾರಿಕ ಮನೋಭಾವವನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕೆಂಬುದು ನನ್ನ ಮನವಿ. ಹಾಗಾದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆರೋಗ್ಯಪೂರ್ಣವಾದ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ.
These statements were made as he compared India to Hitler's Germany, and he asked the next generation to fight the central government and speak up against the alleged injustices. His address essentially underlined the need to take the Kannada language and its culture to new heights, as he claimed the neglect inflicted upon Kannada in education has caused many problems.
All right, viewers, let's move on. We have big news coming in, breaking news. RSS's General Secretary Dattatreya has urged the union government to swiftly formulate a population policy to correct demographic imbalance. He said, and I quote him now, the government has mentioned this on an open platform and also in Parliament. He said the sooner a population policy is made, the better it will be. So RSS General Secretary Dattatreya Hosapale urging the government to swiftly formulate a population policy to correct what he says is a demographic imbalance.
जनसांख्यिकी असंतुलन, डेमोग्राफिक इम्बैलेंस, इसी विषय पर देश भर में हमने कार्यक्रम किए थे। डेमोग्राफिक इम्बैलेंस जो हो रहा है वो 3 कारणों से हो रहे हैं। घुसपैठी बांग्लादेश से होने वाले या पाकिस्तान से होने वाले, दूसरे है कन्वर्शन जो धर्मांतरण के संदर्भ में आपने पूछा, तीसरे है कुछ समुदायों के विशेष उनके संतति के प्रमाण ज्यादा होना। ये तीनों कारणों से डेमोग्राफिक इम्बैलेंस हो रहा है और जनसंख्या के नियंत्रण की दृष्टि से पॉपुलेशन पॉलिसी करना सरकार का काम है। तो वो पॉपुलेशन पॉलिसी जितनी जल्दी होगी उतने इसके लाभ होगा।
Meanwhile, the face-off between the Congress party and the BJP's ideological mentor RSS has escalated with Congress party chief Mallikarjun Kharge's comment that the RSS should be banned. The RSS, which does not usually react to such statements, however, has responded and said that the organization has been accepted by the country. Take a look at this report.
The General Secretary of RSS questioned the rationale behind Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge's call to ban the organization. He highlighted that there should be a reason to ban the organization as the Sangh is regularly devoted to nation building.
वो मुझे लगता है पहले के अनुभव से थोड़ा सीखना चाहिए, समाज किस दिशा में जा रहे हैं और पहले उन्होंने अभी बैन करना चाहिए ऐसे कहने वाले एक प्रमुख नेता पहले उन्होंने 3 बार प्रयत्न भी किए थे। उसको समाज ने क्या कहा, न्यायालय ने क्या कहा, क्या मिला उससे, और ये सब होने के बाद भी संघ का कार्य आगे बढ़ता गया और बैन करना चाहिए ना, उसका कोई कारण हो चाहिए, मुझे इच्छा हो गई इसलिए बैन करना चाहिए, ऐसे थोड़ी होता है।
He made the remarks during a press conference in Jabalpur in Madhya Pradesh following the organization's second day of the Akhil Bharatiya Karyakarni Mandal meet. The RSS General Secretary's comments come a few days after Kharge called for a ban on the organization as he held RSS and BJP responsible for the current state of law and order in India. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge said most law and order issues stem from the BJP and RSS.
ये हटाने के लिए हम अभी भी मांग कर रहे हैं। हम ये चाहते हैं कोई ऐसी संस्था जिस संस्थाओं को वल्लभ भाई पटेल जी ने बैन किया था, गांधी जी के जो मृत्यु में इन लोगों का पात्र है समझ के उन्होंने अपने पत्रों में स्पष्ट किया है, लेकिन वो लोग उन लोगों को ये सरकार आज इन कर्मचारियों को इसमें आने की मदद कर रही है।
Reacting to BJP leader Sambit Patra's criticism, Karnataka Minister Priyank Kharge defended the Congress's stance.
It is not Mr. Kharge's ideology. It is the Congress party's ideology that Constitution and constitutional values should be respected and protected. Now, an organization that has rejected the Constitution and wanted Manusmriti as its Constitution, how can we accept it? An organization or an unregistered NGO has no space, no place for Dalits, SC, STs, backwards, women in their ideology. How can we accept it?
Earlier, the Congress President's son and Karnataka Minister Priyank Kharge had urged Chief Minister Siddaramaiah to bar RSS activities in government schools, colleges and state-owned temples, accusing the organization of brainwashing.
And viewers, we have breaking news coming in from Bengaluru, where shocking road rage incident has been reported near Keyapuram, where a cab driver allegedly rammed his vehicle into a biker after an argument, causing the biker and the pillion rider to fall on the road. Now, this entire episode was captured on the dash cam of a car which was travelling behind them, and the driver who recorded the incident has now filed a police complaint. And after deliberately hitting the bike, the cab driver also allegedly snatched the biker's keys and attempted to flee. Now, police are verifying the footage of the incident and they are investigating the case. But in the video, we can easily see how this cab driver rammed his car into a two-wheeler after a heated argument. All right. right, viewers, we'll take a very short break right now, but after the short break, we'll focus on the upcoming Bihar Assembly elections and days ahead of the first phase of polling on 6th of November. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is to hold a grand road show in Patna. That big story and much more is coming up. Don't go anywhere.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना।
From the Ram Janmabhoomi case to Sabrimala, from Narmada to Kaveri, where faith met law, where history waited for a verdict. Padma Shri 2025 recipient, Senior Advocate C.S. Vaidyanathan on the legal side of things this weekend only on Republic TV.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
India is all set to conduct a large-scale tri-services military exercise named Exercise Trishul along the western border near the disputed Sir Creek area. This exercise will involve the Army, Navy and Air Force and is being called unprecedented in both scale and operational complexity. Satellite images analyzed by defense experts show that the airspace reserved for the exercise will extend up to 28,000 feet. This is unusual for a routine military drill and indicates the seriousness with which India is approaching this operation. The exercise will run from October 30 to November 10. Under the umbrella of Exercise Trishul, India's armed forces are set to conduct joint operations across diverse terrains, from offensive maneuvers in the Sir Creek and desert sectors to amphibious drills off the Saurashtra coast and multi-domain exercises involving cyber, electromagnetic and
Chinese vessels spotted in Indian Ocean region. Top sources can inform that Indian Navy is tracking and monitoring the situation closely. Bihar Police arrest JDU leader and Mokama candidate Anant Singh in connection with Dularchand Yadav murder case. ISRO commences 24-hour countdown to the launch of India's largest military satellite. RSS General Secretary Dattatreya Hosabale urges the Union government to swiftly formulate a population policy to correct demographic imbalance. Surrendered Maoist leader Bhupati sends a message to active members, asks Maoists to lay down their arms. Days ahead of first phase of polling on 6th of November, Prime Minister Modi to hold a grand road show in Patna. And 9 injured after stabbing attack on a train near UK's Cambridge. 2 suspects arrested. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer condemns the attack, calls it appalling. The top story right now, tensions have flared in the Indian Ocean after a Chinese vessel was detected near India's coastline, even as the country's major military exercise Trishul is underway. Now, the Navy chief has confirmed the vessel's presence, saying that the Indian forces are closely monitoring all Chinese movements. Take a look. Tensions arose in the Indian Ocean after a Chinese vessel was spotted near India's coastline late Saturday, at a time when India's major military exercises are underway. The Vice Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Sanjay Vatsyan, has confirmed the presence of the Chinese vessel.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are monitoring each and every Chinese vessel that enters the Indian Ocean region. Each and every one of them, as far as the naval ships are concerned or the research vessels are concerned. So we are aware of them. That is one. As far as holding this event concurrent to the ongoing Op Sindoor, the message is very clear that while we are in Op Sindoor and it is the operation has not yet been shut down or closed.
Reports suggest the Chinese tracking vessel Yuan Wang 5 was operating in the Indian Ocean in September. As part of Operation Sindoor, the Indian Navy continues to assess all threats and challenges in the region. This development comes even as Exercise Trishul, India's mega tri-service drill, is underway across the western border and the Arabian Sea. For the first time, the Army, Navy and Air Force are operating in full coordination, simulating real war conditions, validating joint operations and testing high-temperature combat maneuvers. Fighter jets, transport aircraft, warships, submarines, drones and special forces are all part of this massive exercise. With the tensions rising, both surveillance and preparedness have been intensified, as the presence of Chinese vessel in nearby waters adds a new layer of vigilance to India's ongoing military readiness. All right, let's get to some international news. In Jamaica, the aftermath of a Hurricane Melissa has left widespread destruction across the island. The government has declared several areas disaster zones with thousands of people displaced and extensive damage reported. Here's a report.
After Hurricane Melissa tore through the island, Jamaica's famed bamboo tunnel was shredded, leaving soldiers cutting through fallen stalks just to reopen the main route to Black River. The government has called the town to ground zero after Melissa made landfall. Up to 90% of all structures over there have lost their roofs. Power lines are down and even concrete buildings have been destroyed. Melissa was one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes, which killed 19 people in Jamaica and 31 in nearby Haiti. With helicopters flying over isolated communities, dropping food and supplies, and rescue teams working selflessly to clear blocked roads. More than 60% of Jamaica is still sleeping without electricity, and almost half the country's water systems remain offline.
Jamaica need help, man. We mash up. First, we never history this in our life. First, we see this in life, man.
The storms have just left behind a mix of mud, sand, and shattered homes.
I had to run out of this room. Yes, but I can't cook. Just sit down and thanking God that I'm still around.
Amid the chaos, police are appealing for calm and order as recovery efforts continue.
Can appreciate that persons are trying to grab at things, persons are devastated, but we want to ensure that we maintain law and order even as we seek to rebuild.
Hurricane Melissa has hit southwest Jamaica with winds of 185 miles per hour, tying the records for strongest hurricanes ever to strike the Atlantic coast.
All right, let's take a look at some more news from across the globe. Here's our international wrap. Millions of Filipinos gathered at cemeteries across the Philippines on Saturday to observe the annual tradition of visiting tombs of their dearly departed to mark All Saints' Day. Visitors at the capital Manila walked in large crowds carrying flowers and candles to be placed at the graves of their deceased loved ones. For generations, All Saints' Day has continued to serve as a family reunion among relatives who by tradition faithfully keep vigil at the tomb of their departed loved ones. 5 people have sustained minor injuries after a train smashed into a truck that got stuck at a level crossing in the Netherlands. Reportedly, the truck was attempting to cross the tracks before reversing back over them, but it was unable to get off the tracks as the barriers came down and a train smashed into its trailer. China has set a new milestone in its space program as its Shenzhou 21 spacecraft has successfully docked with the Tiangong space station just 3.5 hours after launch. On board were 3 astronauts, which also included a former new energy researcher and first-time flyers as well. The crew will live aboard the station for 6 months, conducting 27 scientific experiments in biotechnology, material science and aerospace medicine. Pope Leo XIV has elevated Saint John Henry Newman to one of the Catholic Church's highest honors, declaring him a doctor of the Church. As of now, only 37 others have received the title in 2,000 years. Pope made the announcement during a Holy Year Mass for Catholic educators and students, also naming Newman a co-patron of Catholic education alongside St. Thomas Aquinas. Alright, viewers, we have big breaking news coming in from the UK. Multiple people were stabbed on a train near Cambridge, prompting an armed police response and the arrest of 2 men at the Huntington station. Several victims were hospitalized as UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has called the attack as appalling. So 2 people have been arrested in the case, and this is the police have declared it a major incident. This was that several people are in the hospital and several have also received life-threatening injuries. This after a stabbing attack on a train traveling this happening on a train near Cambridge.
So what happened was I was in Coach G and there was quite a few people coming through Coach G, and one of the people that were coming through, I had my headphones on, then heard them say, they've got a knife, I've been stabbed. And then when looking up, so they were making their way through the carriage to get away from the incident, from the suspect. They were extremely bloodied. That person ended up, when we pulled in, they were basically on the floor. We couldn't progress further down the train away from the suspect because that person ended up collapsing on the floor. So they were taken into an ambulance pretty much straight away. I think the driver did the right thing when we called the emergency or contact to let the driver know that something's going on. He pulled into Huntingdon, which is the right thing. Couldn't stop anywhere because anything could have happened. It was the right thing. We were ushered out of the station from the platform, and there was multiple people that had been stabbed that was making their way down, but the suspect had also come off the train as well. So while we were being told to come out of the station, the suspect was obviously running rampant as well, and I don't know reason. No one knows the reason why. The people that did witness it have actually gone off to the HQ. They were taken with statements have been taken, and they are now going to the police station to give further statements.
And more international news, thousands of people gathered in the northern city of Novi Sad in Serbia on Saturday to mark the first anniversary of a deadly railway station disaster. So what began as a solemn memorial soon turned into a powerful display of public anger towards President Alexander Vucic's government. Here's a report.
The northern town of Novi Sad on Saturday saw a crowd of thousands of people. The large amount of people had gathered to commemorate the victims of a railway station collapse, the disaster which happened a year ago.
Mi smo tu da odamo počast i iskažemo svoju žalost. To je danas prvi i osnovni cilj svega. Da pokažemo da smo u osjećanjima isto s njima, s tim porodicama, s tim žrtvama. I ovo društvo pati duboko pogođeno.
The collapse of a concrete canopy at the Novi Sad train station on November 1st, 2024 killed 16 people. Protesters say that the Novi Sad station collapse was caused by corruption and negligence in state infrastructure projects, leading to deadly safety lapses.
Ovo je tužno, ovo je strašno, pogotovo biti u blizini ovog zločina. I mi se nadamo stvarno da više nikada se neće ovako nešto desiti. A mi kao starija neka generacija podržavamo ove mlade i oni treba da idu do kraja, a mi smo za njime.
No one has been held responsible, though charges have been raised against 13 people. Saturday's ceremonies started with 16 minutes of silence for the 16 victims at exactly 11:52 a.m., the time of the crash a year ago. The huge turnout after 1 year of the incident suggested that protesters' resolve for major political reforms in the country persist. The administration has cracked down hard on the protesters in recent months, with police detaining hundreds of people and using tear gas and batons. Serbia is seeking European Union entry, but the accession process has stalled as the country is nurturing close relations with Russia and China, while also clamping down on democratic freedoms to achieve full control.
And in some other news, at the ASEAN, United States and Australia reaffirmed their long-standing defense partnership. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth met with his Australian counterpart Richard Marles, where both the leaders emphasized the importance of cooperation in maintaining stability across the Indo-Pacific. Here is the report. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Australian Defense Minister Richard Marles met in Kuala Lumpur on Saturday on the sidelines of the ASEAN Defense Ministers meeting. During their bilateral talks, both leaders reaffirmed the strength of their defense partnership and the importance of cooperation in maintaining stability across the Indo-Pacific region. Hegseth emphasized that the alliance between the US and Australia remains one of the most enduring and vital partnerships for global peace and security.
We have been long and close allies. I hope the American people, everyone understands the deep ties that have been and continue to be between the US and Australia. And they continue today. The exercises we do together, the way we cooperate in the Indo-Pacific and around the world. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity to continue it with you. Peace through strength means working with our best and closest allies, and Australia has long been one of them.
Australian Defence Minister Richard Marles echoed Hegseth's remarks, highlighting their shared commitment to upholding international norms and a rules-based global order.
What we do together is uphold the rules-based order, and we've been doing that throughout our relationship, very much since the end of the Second World War. And there is, much for us to discuss in terms of American force posture in Australia, AUKUS, the deep way in which our defence forces are embedded, particularly in the Indo-Pacific Command, and Admiral Paparo is here.
The meeting underscored the deep military cooperation as both nations continue to work closely in the Indo-Pacific to ensure peace, stability, and a free and open maritime region.
Mr. Secretary, any plans to strike Venezuela?
All right, and now it's time to take a look at all the news from the world of market and business. Here is the business wrap. Tata Motors reported a 26.6% increase in sales in October, reaching 61,295 units across domestic and international markets combined. The automaker mentioned that Tata Motors reported record-breaking monthly wholesales for the second consecutive month. SUVs lead the charge in October. Over 47,000 units were sold during the month, achieving the highest ever 77% share in monthly sales. Tata Motors also reported an all-time high EV wholesales at 9,286 units, surging over 73% year-on-year, powered by what is termed strong customer preference for the expanding EV portfolio. Restaurants, hotels and all those small businesses that depend on big cooking gas cylinders can breathe a small sigh of relief this month as the state-run fuel companies have lowered the price of the 19 kg commercial LPG cylinders across major cities, with the new rates kicking in from 1st of November. India's automotive industry witnessed robust growth in October 2025, buoyed by festive season demand and a strong consumer sentiment. Major automakers Hyundai, Mahindra & Mahindra, TVS Motors, Toyota Kirloskar and Kia India all reported healthy year-on-year gains across key segments. Hyundai Motor India Limited reported total sales of 69,894 units, marking an 11% year-on-year growth in exports. The company's SUV duo, Creta and Venue, achieved their second highest ever combined monthly sales of 30,119 units, reinforcing Hyundai's leadership in the SUV segment. The goods and services tax collections in October in gross terms rose 4.6% to about 1.95 lakh crore compared to about 1.87 lakh crore in the same month last year. According to official data, in the month of October, collections of the central GST, state GST and integrated GST rose year-on-year, while cess collections dipped year-on-year. UPI, developed by the National Payments Corporation of India, has recorded a whopping 20.7 billion transactions in the month of October, higher from 19.63 billion in the month of September and 20.01 billion recorded in August this year. Some news from the world of, politics. The face-off between the Congress party and the BJP's ideological mentor RSS has escalated, with the Congress party chief Mallikarjun Kharge's comment that the RSS should be banned. The RSS, which usually does not react to such statements, however, has responded this time and said that the organization has been accepted by the country. Here's a report.
The General Secretary of RSS questioned the rationale behind Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge's call to ban the organization. He highlighted that there should be a reason to ban the organization, as the Sangh is regularly devoted to nation building.
वो मुझे लगता है पहले के अनुभव से थोड़ा सीखना चाहिए, समाज किस दिशा में जा रहे हैं, और पहले उन्होंने अभी बैन करना चाहिए ऐसे कहने वाले एक प्रमुख नेता पहले उन्होंने 3 बार प्रयत्न भी किए थे। उसको समाज ने क्या कहा, न्यायालय ने क्या कहा, क्या मिला उससे, और ये सब होने के बाद भी संघ का कार्य आगे बढ़ता गया। और बैन करना चाहिए ना, उसका कोई कारण हो चाहिए, मुझे इच्छा हो गई तो बैन करना चाहिए, ऐसे थोड़ी होता है।
He made the remarks during a press conference in Jabalpur in Madhya Pradesh, following the organization's second day of the Akhil Bharatiya Karyakarni Mandal meet. The RSS General Secretary's comments come a few days after Kharge called for a ban on the organization, as he held RSS and BJP responsible for the current state of law and order in India. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge said most law and order issues stem from the BJP and RSS.
ये हटाने के लिए हम अभी भी मांग कर रहे हैं। हम ये चाहते हैं कोई ऐसी संस्था जिस संस्थाओं को वल्लभ भाई पटेल जी ने बैन किया था, गांधी जी के जो मृत्यु में इन लोगों का पात्र है समझ के उन्होंने अपने पत्रों में स्पष्ट किया है, लेकिन वो लोग, उन लोगों को ये सरकार आज इन कर्मचारियों को इसमें आने की मदद कर रही है।
Reacting to BJP leader Sambit Patra's criticism, Karnataka Minister Priyank Kharge defended the Congress's stance.
It is not Mr. Kharge's ideology. It is the Congress party's ideology that constitution and constitutional values should be respected and protected. Now, an organization that has rejected the constitution and wanted Manusmriti as its constitution, how can we accept it? An organization or an unregistered NGO has no space, no place for Dalits, SC, STs, backwards, women in their ideology. How can we accept it?
Earlier, the Congress president's son and Karnataka Minister Priyank Kharge had urged Chief Minister Siddharamaiah to bar RSS activities in government schools, colleges and state-owned temples, accusing the organization of brainwashing.
Big story from Assam, where a political firestorm has erupted. The war of words between Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma and Congress MP Gaurav Gogoi has reached a breaking point now. The Congress leader hit back after being called a Pakistan agent, saying that Himanta is unfit to hold office. The controversy deepens as the Assam government's SIT report on Gogoi's alleged foreign links also comes under scrutiny. Here's the full story.
The back and forth between Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma and Congress MP Gaurav Gogoi over the former's allegations of Pakistan links of the latter reached its boiling point on Saturday. This after Gogoi hit back at Himanta Biswa Sarma by calling him unfit to hold his position as the head of the Assam government.
Pakistani agent. Purely Pakistan. He is a pure Pakistan agent. He has been planted by foreign power in the state of India, in our country. He is a planted person.
Gogoi's remark came after Himanta called him a Pakistani agent planted by foreign power. This is not the first time he has levelled such accusations against the Congress leader.
Viewers, we are taking a short break now, but coming up ahead, ISRO commences 24-hour countdown to the launch of India's largest military satellite. That big story and much more is coming up after a short break. Stay with us.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
भारत की अपनी दुकान, इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना।
इंडिया सोना। दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा, आर प्योर मसाला।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
MDH
In a shocking turn of events over the South China Sea, 2 US Navy planes crashed into the ocean during what should have been normal training on the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier. The near simultaneous losses involved an MH-60R Seahawk helicopter and an F-18F Super Hornet. Both aircraft operate with highly integrated avionics that depend on accurate satellite navigation, data link connectivity to the carrier, and redundant onboard sensors during launch, recovery, and maritime patrol. In the South China Sea, China has systematically layered electronic warfare systems across its man-made islands and outposts to shape the electromagnetic environment and gain asymmetric advantages short of kinetic conflict. China's deployed network combined.
This is Republic Jack Olival Studio. Stay tuned for all the breaking news and updates. I am Tanisha Awasthi. Let's get started.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना,
अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना,
इंडिया सोना।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा
सबका राजा और मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
MDH
भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना,
अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना,
इंडिया सोना।
India is all set to conduct a large-scale tri-services military exercise named Exercise Trishul along the western border near the disputed Sir Creek area. This exercise will involve the Army, Navy, and Air Force and is being called unprecedented in both scale and operational complexity. Satellite images analyzed by defense experts show that the airspace reserved for the exercise will extend up to 28,000 feet. This is unusual for a routine military drill and indicates the seriousness with which India is approaching this operation.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Welcome viewers, you're watching Republic TV. I'm Priyanka Chaudhary and our big focus is going to be the war of words between Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma and Gaurav Gogoi regarding certain issues pertaining to Gogoi's links with Pakistan. We will be bringing you more details on the story, but first up the headlines. Chinese vessels spotted in Indian Ocean region. Top sources informs that Indian Navy is tracking and monitoring the situation closely. Bihar Police arrests JDU leader and Mukama candidate Anant Singh in connection with Dularchand Yadav murder case. ISRO commences 24-hour countdown to launch of India's largest military satellite. RSS General Secretary urges the Union government to swiftly formulate a population policy to correct demographic imbalance. Surrendered Maoist leader Bhupati sends message to active members, asks Maoists to lay down their arms. Days ahead of the first phase of polling on November 6th, Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold grand roadshow in Patna.
9 injured after stabbing attack on train near UK's Cambridge. 2 suspects arrested. UK Prime Minister condemns the attack, calls it appalling. Breaking news coming in, viewers. The Patna police on Saturday arrested JDU candidate from Mukam Anant Singh in connection with the murder of Suraj worker Dularchand Yadav. The police, led by Patna SSP, reached Anant Singh's Kargil market residence in Bar and later took him into custody. Singh is being brought to Patna for questioning, and Dularchand Yadav, a Jan Suraj party supporter, died due to a ruptured lung and multiple rib fractures during election campaigning in Mukama. In fact, the autopsy ruled out gunshot as a cause of death, sparking political tensions amid the Bihar Assembly polls.
इस तारीख को एक दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण घटना हुई थी, जिसमें जो वहाँ पे मुकामा विधानसभा के जो 2 कैंडिडेट थे, उनके पक्ष आमने सामने आ गए थे और उनके बीच में पत्थरबाजी घटना हुई थी, जिसमें एक व्यक्ति का शव बरामद हुआ था। इसमें कई कांड दर्ज किए गए थे। जो ये हत्या का मामला आया था, उसमें आज 3 गिरफ्तारियाँ की गई। इसमें अभी जो 3 गिरफ्तारियों में ये लोग आए हैं, इसके अलावा अन्य कई लोग हैं जिन पर रेड छापेमारी चल रही है। कितने बजे तक अनंत सिंह की गिरफ्तारी? करीब 2 घंटा पहले। मैं आश्वस्त दिलाता हूँ वहाँ के पटना पूरे जिला के वोटर्स को कि बहुत ही शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से सारी व्यवस्था के साथ इलेक्शन कराया जाएगा। निर्भीक होकर उत्सव के माहौल में आके वो वोट करें। पटना पुलिस प्रशासन उनके साथ में है। किसी का भी मताधिकार का प्रयोग करने से किसी को रोका नहीं जाएगा। जो पुलिस है वो जो एविडेंस बेस पे काम करती है, जो आरोप प्रत्यारोप पे नहीं होता है। अगर एविडेंस आएगा और अगर कॉग्निजेबल ऑफेंस होगा तो उसमें कांड दर्ज किया जाएगा, अनुसंधान करके गिरफ्तारियाँ की जाएगी।
Breaking news coming in. The Bihar Police arrests controversial ex-MLA Anant Singh, 2 others over Dularchand Yadav death case. Controversial former Bihar MLA Anant Singh, who seeks to reclaim the Mokama seat on the ticket of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's JDU, was arrested in a late-night operation on Saturday in connection with the murder of the Jan Suraj supporter Dularchand Yadav. And Anant Singh, who has been under the scanner since the killing of Yadav, who recently clashed with his sympathizers, was picked up from his house in Bar, about 200 kilometers from the state capital. Police also arrested 2 other persons who were also present with him during the incident when it took place. And we leave it at that and shift our focus, viewers. A morning of devotion turned into despair in Andhra Pradesh's Kasibagga, where a stampede at the Venkateshwara Swami temple claimed several lives. Now, what began as a prayers for the Kartika Ekadashi ended in chaos, with 10 people dead and nearly 100 injured. The Republic has accessed the exclusive details showing how the negligence and lack of planning led to the tragedy. Here's the full story.
A morning meant for prayer at the Venkateshwara Swami temple in Kasibagga has turned into tragedy. Tens of thousands of devotees had gathered early for Kartika Ekadashi, an auspicious occasion that draws large crowds every year. This temple, a replica of the Tirupati temple built by 80-year-old Mukunda Panda, had opened just 4 months ago, and construction was still ongoing. By mid-morning, the temple complex had far exceeded its capacity. Devotees pushed forward narrow staircases and passageways. People stumbled on the steps while others tried to flee. Within moments, chants of prayer turned into screams for help as the crowd surged towards the exits. Ten people have been confirmed dead so far, with nearly 100 injured. Amidst this, Minister Nara Lokesh was seen inspecting the site in Kasibagga, later meeting the stampede victims.
Very unfortunate incident has happened in Kasibagga Venkateshwara Swami temple. Today being Ekadasi, the Chief Minister has announced an ex gratia of 15 lakhs for the deceased. I know for the families who had serious injuries, 3 lakh rupees. As soon as this incident happened, we have informed the Honorable Prime Minister's office, And Modi ji has announced a 2 lakh rupee ex gratia for the deceased and 50,000 rupees for the people who have had grievous injuries.
Republic was the only channel that was live from the scene of the tragedy, tracking minute-by-minute update of each development.
पूरा गिर गए ये जिसका स्टील का गिरता है, ये आने का रास्ता ये है और जाने का रास्ता भी ये की टेंपल का ये की, इसलिए इतना कटा हुआ ये कंप्लीटली एक्सक्लूसिव देख सकते हैं। पूरा स्टील का ग्रिल से ये ग्रिल पूरा गिर गए। क्या ये नया टेंपल है, एक 6 महीना का पहले ओपन किया था। ये एक प्राइवेट आदमी है, हरिमुकुंद पंडा नाम के, वो प्राइवेट आदमी का ये टेंपल बना है। तो 10 करोड़ का रुपीस में ये टेंपल बना है। ये टेंपल का श्री बालाजी भगवान का टेंपल है। एक्चुअली क्या ये 94 का इयर्स ओल्ड मैन है। ओल्ड मैन इंडिविजुअल फंडिंग रेज करके ये टेंपल बना है। एक्चुअली क्या एक टेंपल का आपको देखेगा तो सुंदर लगेगा। इधर लोकल आदमी को जैसे बालाजी टेंपल तिरुपति है ना, वैसे दिखेगा। बालाजी टेंपल जाने आदमी है, इधर आके ये दर्शन करता है। इसलिए इधर आज एकादशी का कारण से भक्तुल ज्यादा आदमी आया है। ये एक्सक्लूसिव देख सकते हैं। ये पूरा गिल्स है, ये पूजा सामान पड़ा है। इसमें 9 आदमी है, देख सकते हैं। पूरा पूजा सामान पड़ा है, तो आप तो देख सकते हैं। ये एंट्री है। ये पूरा ये नया टेंपल है, इसलिए इतना इकट्ठा हुआ करके बोल रहे। मेन क्या था ये टेंपल का एक प्राइवेट आदमी बना है, इसलिए एंडोमेंट डिपार्टमेंट पुलिस सिक्योरिटी नहीं दिया, इसलिए इतना इकट्ठा हुआ करके अभी जिला कलेक्टर भी बोल रहे। हवा में गिल्स पड़ा है, ये इसको पकड़ के पूरा आदमी एक साथ नीचे गिर गए। इसलिए अभी अपन को क्या अधिकारी को बोल रहे, 9 आदमी महिला लोग मर गए, ये एक लड़का मर गए। ये पूरा कंप्लीटली ये देख सकते हैं। ये पूरा ग्रिल है, इतना हेवी ग्रिल है, इतना हेवी ग्रिल से ये अपन गिरेंगे तो क्या कोई बचता नहीं है।
Republic has exposed that the tragedy could have been avoided. The privately managed temple reportedly did not inform authorities about the scale of the gathering, with no additional security or barricading. The entry and exit points were overwhelmed.
5 months हुआ ओपन करके, रोज 1000-2000 आदमी आता, भगवान का दर्शन करके आनंद जाता, थोड़ा प्रसाद हम देता, वो खा के जाता। आज इतना आदमी आएगा क्या मालूम है। हम कहीं पुलिस नहीं बोला,
कभी भी एंडोमेंट डिपार्टमेंट वाला है। ठीक
है, हम पुलिस रिपोर्ट नहीं दिया, पुलिस आओ बोला नहीं, इतना आदमी आएगा हम मालूम नहीं। हमको 94 हम रोज भगवान पास रहेंगे, जब आदमी आना से थोड़ा प्रसाद देता, हम वो खा के चल जाता। हम गए, आज पुलिस कुछ नहीं बोला।
Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu has directed officials to ensure treatment for the injured and ordered an inquiry into lapses in crowd management.
నేను ప్రతి ఒక్క ప్రాణాన్ని కాపాడుకోవాలని అనేక ప్రయత్నాలు చేస్తూ ఉంటే కొంతమంది ప్రైవేటు వ్యక్తులు ఇలాంటి కార్యక్రమాలు చేయడం చాలా బాధాకరం. దీన్ని నేను చాలా తీవ్రంగా ఖండిస్తున్నా. రాష్ట్రంలో అందరికి కూడా విజ్ఞప్తి చేస్తున్నా, మనకు మన ప్రాణం చాలా ముఖ్యం. ప్రాణాలు కాపాడుకోవాలంటే మనం కూడా ఒక బాధ్యతగా ఉంటే తప్ప ఓసారి వెళ్ళిపోవడం, ఎక్కువ మనుషులందరూ సమీకరణ కావడం, అక్కడ స్టాంపేడ్ జరగడం, ఇలాంటి దుర్ఘటనలు జరిగేదానికి దోహదం చేసే పరిస్థితి వస్తూ ఉంది. ఏదేమైనా మనం గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాల్సింది, అమాయకులు చనిపోయారు. నేను చాలా బాధపడుతున్నా. అందుకని ఈ దుర్ఘటన పట్ల చాలా సీరియస్గా తీసుకుంటూ ఎవరైతే దానికి కారకులో వాళ్ళందరినీ కూడా ఇమ్మీడియట్గా కస్టడీలో తీసుకొని పూర్తి విచారణ చేసి తర్వాత ఏం చేయాలో తదుపరి చర్యలు చేపడతాం.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed condolences and announced rupees 2 lakh compensation for the families of those killed and rupees 50,000 for the injured. For hundreds who came to offer prayers, the day ended in grief. The Kazibagga stampede has once again exposed how unregulated gatherings continue to risk lives during India's major festivals.
And moving on, viewers, Major General G.D. Bakshi's new book argues that the 2025 conflict dubbed Operation Sindoor changed the rules of limited war in South Asia. In his hard-hitting study, Bakshi examines how calibrated air and tri-service strikes were used to punish terror infrastructure without crossing the nuclear threshold.
This book is in the tradition of hot washer.
The book, The Fifth India-Pakistan War, Operation Sindoor. An open-source analysis is a concise 214-page study by Major General G.D. Bakshi, a combat veteran and scholar with decades of experience in India's military operations. It was published in 2025 and has already been discussed at Defence Forum. Major General G.D. Bakshi traces the arc from the Pahalgam attack to India's deep strikes, arguing that carefully measured use of air and joint assets produced strategic effect while managing escalation risk. His analysis mixes open-source data, maps, and operational reading to explain how hits were chosen and why they mattered. The book argues that missile networks and air power, from theatre air assets to layered air defence, Major General G.D. Bakshi's new book argues that Operation Sindoor changed the playbook for limited war in South Asia, showing how calibrated conventional strikes paired with tight command and control can punish terror infrastructure while managing escalation risk. The book launch drew defense experts and veterans. Operation Sindoor reshaped the operational calculus.
Time has come for a restructuring of subcontinental security on the scale that we did in 1971. We have to take those risks and we have to aim for decisive results. What is the difference between now and 71? 71 there was no nuclear backdrop. That is the precise lesson from Op Sindoor. How to deal with Pakistan's nuclear threat. How to deal with Pakistan's nuclear bluff. And I think we called that bluff in Op Sindoor by a combination of defensive and offensive means.
Critics say books like this sharpen public understanding of deterrence and the limits of coercion. Supporters call it a practical manual for future planners. General Bakshi's central claim that calibrated conventional strikes can coerce without triggering nuclear escalation is the book's through line.
There are two revolutions in military affairs, RMAs, which are ongoing. One is the RMA in the terms of the usage of drones, which have created a revolution on the military battlefield. The second is the efficacy of air defense, the lethality of air defense, right? Both these lessons were learnt in Russia, Ukraine, they were relearnt in the Middle East, and this time what this operation has showed us is that India did not fight in the past. Generally, we fight the last war all over again. This time we fought in the future.
Major General Bakshi's book adds a veteran's voice to the conversation on India-Pakistan stability, arguing the future of deterrence, arguing how the future of deterrence will be fought and judged in the grey zone between the convention and the nuclear.
Moving on, viewers, as India and Russia prepare for high-level defense talks ahead of President Putin's visit in the late 2025, the spotlight is turning towards the 117S engine, a next-generation tactical turbofan poised to reshape propulsion strategy across the platforms. Now, designed for integration into Sukhoi class fighters, including potential upgrades to India's Sukhoi 30 MKI fleet, the 177S offers a thrust output of up to 14,500 kgf with afterburner surpassing current AL31FP and AL41F1 benchmarks. Its compact dimensions allow drop-in compatibility, while advanced digital controls and thermal efficiency improvements support super cruise capability and reduced infrared signature. A key feature is its three-dimensional thrust vectoring, enabling pitch and roll control through nozzle deflection, now critical for post-stall maneuvering and missile evasion.
Ahead of Russian President Vladimir Putin's visit to India, a major development gaining traction is the potential inclusion of Russia's 177S engine in the evolving defense trade dialogue. With Indian officials already engaged in early-stage discussions, the engine is being framed as a strategic offering aligned with India's modernization and indigenization goals. Derived from the Saturn AL41F1S family used in the Su-35, the 177S is an export-optimized variant of the more advanced AL51F1 Isdaliya-30, powering the Su-57 stealth fighter. The engine, developed by United Engine Corporation, is being pitched not merely as a propulsion upgrade, but as a strategic enabler for India's future air combat capabilities. Unlike previous Russian offerings that focused on complete aircraft platforms, the 177S is designed for modular integration, compatible with both legacy airframes like the Su-30 MKI and next-generation stealth fighters. This approach aligns with India's dual-track strategy of modernizing existing assets while accelerating indigenous programs such as the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft (AMCA). A defining feature of the 177S is its three-dimensional thrust vectoring system. Unlike conventional systems that pivot in single axis, the 177S nozzles can deflect in pitch, yaw, and roll, granting aircraft unprecedented agility. This enables post-stall maneuvers such as the Cobra and the Herbst maneuver, which are tactically valuable in close-range engagements and missile evasion. Thrust vectoring also reduces reliance on aerodynamic control surfaces, allowing for stealthier airframe designs with fewer protrusions. In operational terms, this translates to tighter turn radii, faster angle of attack transitions, and enhanced survivability in dogfight scenarios. Technically, the 177S represents a significant leap over the AL31FP and AL41F1 engines currently in service. It delivers up to 14,500 kgf of thrust with afterburner, a 15 to 20% increase over its predecessors, while maintaining the same dimensional footprint. This allows for drop-in replacement without extensive airframe redesign, a critical factor for cost-effective fleet upgrades. The engine features full authority digital engine control (FADEC), advanced cooling systems, and high-temperature turbine materials that improve thermal efficiency and reduce infrared signature, key for survivability in contested airspace. Its design also supports super cruise capability, enabling sustained supersonic flight without afterburner, which is essential for modern air dominance missions. In comparative context, the 177S sits between China's WS-15 and the US F-119 PW-100 used in the F-22 Raptor. The WS-15, while ambitious in thrust output, has faced reliability and integration challenges. The F-119 remains the benchmark for stealth integration and supercruise performance, but is not available for export. The 177S, by contrast, offers a pragmatic blend of performance, adaptability, and export viability. Its compatibility with India's Su-30 MKI fleet makes it a compelling option for midlife upgrades, while its potential integration into future platforms could accelerate India's transition to fifth-generation capabilities. The timing of Putin's visit is critical. With India reassessing its propulsion roadmap amid delays in the US-India F414 engine deal and rising regional threats, the 177S emerges as a strategic hedge. Russia's offer reportedly includes co-production rights, technology transfer, and integration support, elements that resonate with India's push for defense self-reliance. If accepted, the 177S could serve as both a tactical upgrade and a stepping stone towards indigenous engine development. Its deployment would not only enhance India's aerial combat edge, but also deepen the Indo-Russian defense partnership at a time when global alignments are shifting.
Viewers, that is all we have for this bulletin. More news and updates will be continuing on the other side, but let's take a look what's coming up next. Bihar Police arrests JDU leader and Mokama candidate Anant Singh in connection with Dularchand Yadav murder case. Days ahead of first phase of polling on November 6th, Prime Minister to hold a grand roadshow in Patna.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिकर।
भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना।
In a shocking turn of events over the South China Sea, 2 US Navy planes crashed into the ocean during what should have been normal training on the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier. The near simultaneous losses involved an MH-60R Seahawk helicopter and an F-18F Super Hornet. Both aircraft operate with highly integrated avionics that depend on accurate satellite navigation, data link connectivity to the carrier, and redundant onboard sensors during launch, recovery, and maritime patrol. In the South China Sea, China has systematically layered electronic warfare systems across its man-made islands and outposts to shape the electromagnetic environment and gain asymmetric advantages short of kinetic conflict. China's deployed network combines long-range surveillance radars, shore-based jamming arrays, vehicle-mounted and portable emitters, and frequency-agile signal management nodes. These systems are configured to detect, geolocate, and interfere with a wide band of signals, including GPS, tactical data links, maritime communications, and airborne sensor feeds. The overlapping coverage from multiple outposts creates localized pockets of dense electromagnetic activity where transient interference or deliberate denial can manifest intermittently and unpredictably. For carrier-based aircraft executing precision approaches, low-altitude patrols, or formation maneuvers, even brief disruptions to
This week on Get Me Right, did America blink in Busan? Even as President Trump played some mind games with Xi Jinping ahead of the summit by announcing restart of nuclear tests by the United States after 33 years. An influential American think tank, the RAND Corporation, came out with a report asking for legitimacy to the Chinese Communist Party and a compromise on Taiwan. How dangerous is AIMIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi's thesis on proportional representation in governance? More specifically, how close is it to Jinnah's 14 points that led to India's partition? This weekend, Saturday and Sunday, only on Republic TV.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिकर।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया इंडिया सोना अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना इंडिया सोना
इंडिया सोना आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला
भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना इंडिया सोना
इंडिया सोना
India is all set to conduct a large-scale tri-services military exercise named Exercise Trishul along the western border near the disputed Sir Creek area. This exercise will involve the Army, Navy and Air Force and is being called unprecedented in both scale and operational complexity. Satellite images analyzed by defense experts show that the airspace reserved for the exercise will extend up to 28,000 feet. This is unusual for a routine military drill and indicates the seriousness with which India is approaching this operation. The exercise will run from October 30 to November 10. Under the umbrella of Exercise Trishul, India's armed forces are set to conduct joint operations across diverse terrains, from offensive maneuvers in the Sir Creek and desert sectors to amphibious drills off the Saurashtra coast and multi-domain exercises involving cyber, electromagnetic and unmanned systems. The army has reportedly deployed more than 20,000 soldiers along with main battle tanks, howitzers, armed helicopters and various missile systems. Meanwhile, the Indian Air Force will soon initiate high-tempo.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
A very warm welcome, viewers, to the brand new edition. This is Our Defense, and I am Rakshita Mishra with you. Let's get started. It's a historic, biggest ever Indian military's tri-service exercise. It's the first major tri-service war game since Operation Sindoor in May. This is not just another drill, viewers, but a clear statement of readiness along the western frontier. It's a full spectrum simulation of modern warfare, integrating land, air, sea, cyber and space capabilities. Over 20,000 troops from the Army, the Navy and the Indian Air Force are operating across the Sir Creek marshes, the Run of Kutch Desert and the Saurashtra coast, testing real-time coordination between tank battalions, fighter jets and naval assets. The Army, through Exercise Trishul, have deployed T-90s and Arjun tanks, BrahMos cruise missiles and Akash air defense systems. The Navy is fielding destroyers and frigates and fast attack craft, while the Air Force's Mahagajraj operation features Rafales, Su-30 Mark 1s and UAVs like Heron and Sea Guardian. Now, strategically, Trishul's location near the disputed Sir Creek has drawn Pakistan's attention, reflecting in its airspace restrictions and the high alert. The Defence Ministry calls it a showcase of Atmanirbharta, powered by indigenous systems and AI-driven command networks. At its core, Trishul is all about preparedness, ensuring India's armed forces that can operate at one seamless, decisive force when the moment demands.
And the sky echoes with the roar of strength. A new chapter of India's power begins at the dawn of the Mega Tri-Services Exercise 2025. On every inch of our soil stands the courage that guards a billion dreams. This is the strength of the Indian Army. In the boundless skies, where speed meets precision, soars the pride of the Indian Air Force. Across the deep blue, where silence meets strength, the Indian Navy. From the guardians of the sky, to the sentinels of the sea, and to the amphibians on the land, and the steel on the deserts. One flag, one force, one nation. The power of integration comes live in the Mega Tri-Services Exercise 2025. The skies will thunder, the seas will stand guard, the amphibians will rise strong, Coming soon, India's tri-service exercise. Gear up for exciting updates as the action unfolds.
Now let's tell you about the phase 1 of this exercise. So far, India has kicked off this exercise, that is exercise Trishul, with the introduction of Akash Tir. Now, Akash Tir is an AI-enabled automated air defense command and control system that is designed to integrate radar, missile and sensor data into one real-time combat picture. Built under the C4 ISR framework, the Akash Tir gives battlefield commanders a unified air picture, enables faster automated threat responses across domains. And adding to the muscle, the Akash missile system will be a key highlight of these drills, forming the backbone of India's air defense network. Missile engagements in this phase will include both air-to-ground and anti-craft firing sequences, testing real-time interoperability between different branches of the armed forces. Phase 1 of exercise Trishul is in a sense about more than firepower. It's about data power. It's about how India's armed forces are now fighting as one digital ecosystem, guided by automation, powered by indigenous systems, driven by readiness to respond fast. And we will just be joined by our defense expert, Major General JD Bakshi, viewers on the show, as we try to understand what really this is behind, what's really going on. And this is the might of Trishul, which has rattled Pakistan, viewers, because Pakistan, we have seen how it has also now issued an alert. Now it is also trying to tease that it is going to carry out a drill in the same area. That's how rattled Pakistan is. In fact, it is baffled by what exactly India is doing.
Land meets the sea, and the sky echoes with the roar of strength. A new chapter of India's power begins at the dawn of the Mega Tri-Services Exercise 2025. On every inch of our soil stands the courage that guards a billion dreams. This is the strength of the Indian Army. In the boundless skies, where speed meets precision, soars the pride of the Indian Air Force. Across the deep blue, where silence meets strength, the Indian Navy. From the guardians of the sky, to the sentinels of the sea, and to the amphibians on the land, and the steel on the deserts. One flag, one force, one nation. The power of integration comes live in the Mega Tri-Services Exercise 2025. The skies will thunder, the seas will stand guard, the amphibians will rise strong. Coming soon, India's tri-service exercise. Gear up for exciting updates as the action unfolds.
Major General JD Bakshi joining us on the broadcast. Sir, well, India had exemplified how it can unite all the forces, how they came together during Operation Sindoor and hammered Pakistan. And now we once again are going a step forward with Trishul, and that has already spooked Pakistan so much so that now they're even issuing alerts, and they're trying to tease that they are in fact conducting a naval drill just near Sir Creek, where India is also carrying out this exercise.
Absolutely. You see, this is a multi-domain exercise. Not only is it a tri-service exercise to combine the land, sea and air forces, it also is catering to the cyber domain. It is catering to outer space assets and our intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance systems out in space. It is also catering to the electronic spectrum. So it is an exercise designed to test out our theaterization concepts. Lessons learned from Op Sindoor and some new concepts are being tried out. But what we must understand is there is a sharp operational edge to this exercise. What is that operational edge? Pakistan had started creating infrastructure in Sir Creek ever since, and actually even before Asim Munir had gone to meet Donald Trump and had offered to sell him oil. He wanted to do offshore oil explorations by adjusting the Sir Creek boundary in favor of Pakistan. Instead of the midstream Thalweg principle, it was to be on the Indian side of the border, which would give him extended EEZ, exclusive economic zone, to carry out oil exploration, oil well drilling, prospecting, etc. In the bargain, he deployed 2 new Marine Commando battalions in Sir Creek. In that tidal creek, his Navy chief visited it twice and inaugurated 3 major large hovercrafts. Quite obviously, something very sinister was cooking in Sir Creek. And India has therefore reacted by putting Pakistan on notice. The Raksha Mantri told them in absolutely unambiguous terms, the way to Karachi, he said, lies through Sir Creek. Don't mess with us. The army chief went and told the Pakistani armed forces, we will change your history and geography if you provoke us in the Sir Creek or elsewhere. Don't you think of it. All 3 service chiefs have reiterated this very stern warning to Pakistan, and it has been backed up. It has been backed up by our strike corps, the strike corps from central India, which is now deployed its T-72 tanks, T-90 tanks, Arjuns, deployed its medium guns, ATAC, Pinakas, etc., attack helicopters, Apaches. We are running a series of parallel exercises. The Air Force is running the Maha Gajraj air exercise. It has also been combined with the air exercise being conducted over central India, Romeo 1.
Yes.
Also, there will be air exercises and ground exercises being conducted in our northeast, from the Siliguri corridor eastwards.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And there are NOTAMs issued over the Bay of Bengal. The Indian Navy is carrying out a massive exercise in the Arabian Sea. And a vast area of the Arabian Sea has been notice to airmen, don't come around here.
Yeah.
It is dangerous. Right? Pakistan was so worried that last night, at about 03:30 hours in the morning, it scrambled from 3 air bases, its fighter aircraft, which were up in the air till 6 in the morning. They were so worried about our air operations that were being conducted in
It's a
tandem
big
with
cause
this
of worry indeed, sir,
exercise.
for Pakistan. And as you mentioned about the Siliguri corridor, we are going to, in fact, talk about that in just a short while from now. I request you to please stay on with us. And viewers, we will just tell you what's happening on the Eastern Front. But just telling you more about Exercise Trishul, we'll tell you how India is continuing to flex its tri-service muscle. The tempo, ladies and gentlemen, of military readiness is accelerating across the board. Now, Trishul 2025 is in full swing on the Western Front. Meanwhile, COP India 2025 is revving up with India, US, Australia joint air drills at Kalaikunda Air Base in West Bengal. Exercise Malabar is underway at Guam with India, US, Japan and Australia in the Quad Naval Formation, and the Notmar of Karwar hosting live trials for autonomous maritime systems. The Notmar along the western coast for high-intensity firing drills. NOTAM in the Bay of Bengal, as we were talking about, enabling large-scale aerial maneuvers overhead, and NOTAM near Abdul Kalam Island, validating precision strike and missile sequences. We are trying to tell you how India is flexing its military might, and there is preparedness from north to south, east to west. And Bangladesh, viewers, is shifting its alliances. It's an, in fact, unholy nexus. It's an axis of evil that is now forming onto the east. It has triggered serious concerns in India. The reports are telling us how Pakistan's ISI has set up a special cell inside the High Commission in Dhaka. And it follows a high-level visit last weekend by Pakistan's top general Sahir Shamshad Mirza. He met Bangladesh's leader of interim government, Muhammad Yunus, and the chief of its army, navy, air force. Now, it was not just limited to that. The diplomatic overtures took a provocative turn when Yunus presented General Mirza with a book that included a map that depicted Assam and several northeastern Indian states as part of Bangladesh, calling it Greater Bangladesh. It compounds India's concerns as Bangladesh's government decides to lift a long-standing ban on controversial Islamic preacher Zakir Naik as well, allowing him to visit the country. Naik, a fugitive wanted in India, was previously barred by Hasina administration due to his alleged role in inspiring the 2016 Holy Artisan Cafe attack in Dhaka. And reports suggest that Naik may meet leaders of the banned terrorist outfits like the Houthi, that is the Harkatul Jihad Islami, and the Jamaatul Mujahideen Bangladesh during his stay, raising fears of a resurgence of radicalization, which has been quite a lot visible right after the toppling of Hasina government. This convergence, ladies and gentlemen, of Pakistan's intelligence expansion and Naik's sanctioned visit has led New Delhi to observe a potential two-pronged threat to the northeast. There is fear that the ISI-DGFI partnership could revive support for insurgent groups operating in Assam, Manipur and Nagaland. Now, security officials in India have also noted a dramatic rise in cooperation between Pakistan and Bangladesh since the fall of the Hasina government, calling it a 100-fold increase in military and intelligence viewers. And not to forget how Hafiz Saeed's aide was also spotted. There was a picture that came in where he was spotted in Bangladesh and he was being camping near the border. General Bakshi, well, this is a nefarious design that is quite a lot visible. This axis of evil that is actually forming to the eastern side is very, very dangerous, sir.
Absolutely. You know, Pakistan has been over clever and overactive in trying to destabilize India. It joined hands with the CIA, its ISI, to create a colored revolution in Bangladesh, as a result of which the Jamaat-e-Islami and the Razakars, who supplied women to the Pakistan army during the 71 war, have been brought in center stage. General Mirza, very grandiosely, the chief of the general staff of the Pakistan army, very grandiosely visited the border provinces of Bangladesh and with binoculars scanned the Siliguri corridor in some kind of a message to India. This message has backfired badly. India believes in mirror imaging. India believes in a tit-for-tat approach. India has paid back the compliment in Afghanistan. And Pakistan now has a raging war going on with Afghanistan on its border. A war that they, the peace talks in, Qatar and Turkey have not been able to stem at all. In fact, they turned into abuse and invective. And yet this, country has delusions of grandeur. General, Asim Munir, Mullah Asim Munir went to Washington. He told Donald Trump, I am your one-point window of getting things done in South Asia. I will be your guard dog of the Americans in South Asia. Tell me the neighbor you want us to kick, whether it is Iran, Afghanistan or India, and I will kick them, right? And he said, you want the Bagram air base? I will get it for you. We will starve the Afghans into surrender. I'm not letting any food go over the land route. Please block the Chabahar port for the Indians because they are supplying food, rations, medicine through that route to the Afghan people. Starve them into surrender and I will bomb the daylights out of them. For his comeuppance, the Afghans had given it back to him. And he is now going to Bangladesh for its overreach, is going to pay a price. The Riot Act has been read out to Bangladesh. The NSA himself has read out the red lines. Now here I'd like to explain, if you just give me a minute, I'd like to explain some military concepts. One is the concept of deterrence, which means stopping the enemy from undertaking an undesirable action. As far as Pakistan is concerned, it is too late for deterrence because the proxy war started in 1990. It has been going on for the past 4 decades, so you can't technically deter it. What you can do now is coercion and compellence. You can coerce him, you can compel him to roll back the proxy war and stop any further hostile acts against India, including trying to create a cookie land in the northeast with the help of Bangladesh and the CIA. There will be a price to pay. And a severe price at that. The red lines have been read out to Bangladesh. Pakistan thought it could bomb Afghanistan into submission. It could launch attacks there. Khwaja Asim, Khwaja Saab, the defense minister, was trying to threaten invasion of Afghanistan. For that, they need the 11 and 12 corps in Peshawar and Quetta. Those corps can't move because of our exercise Tri-Shakti, nor can the 5th Corps or the 31st Corps. And the problem will be compounded for Pakistan because Pakistan has now decided to be the provider of security to the Middle East on behalf of the Americans. The Americans want 30,000 troops in Gaza to disarm the Hamas. The Americans want 20,000 troops in Riyadh to protect Saudi Arabia. Where will Pakistan take these troops out from? If it uncovers Quetta, it will give a free hand to the Baluch. If it uncovers Peshawar, it will give a free hand to the TTP. And if it takes out 5 or 31 core elements, it will open the way for our strike corps to go all the way to Karachi and beyond. Pakistan is between a rock and a hard place. It has only itself to thank for its over-cleverness, too smart by half for its own good. It is in a
very rightly pointed out, sir. Major General G.D. Bakshi, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for giving us an insight into the situation that we are closely tracking. Viewers, India is gearing up for a landmark maritime event. The International Fleet Review is going to happen next year. It's going to be hosted by India in Visakhapatnam. That's going to happen in February 2026. The event will bring together over 50 warships from more than 145 invited nations, making it one of the world's largest assemblies of naval power. Leading the Indian fleet will be the indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant, making its global debut. The carrier will be joined by stealth, Kalvari-class submarines and frontline warships. The US and Russia are participating as they have indicated that they will be sending their ships. However, India has decided not to invite China, Pakistan and Turkey to the review. However, it's not been confirmed officially, but this is, of course, the blending of naval traditions with futuristic demonstrations that will, of course, involve multiple drone activities, the drone swarms, cyber defense simulations, and joint operations against piracy, terrorism, and climate threats. The fleet review will coincide with Milan 2026, India's flagship multilateral naval exercise, the Milan, which will feature live fire drills, anti-submarine operations, and humanitarian assistance simulations involving over 50 nations. Parallel to that is the Indian Ocean Naval Symposium Conclave of Chiefs that will convene 25 member navies and observer nations to strengthen maritime cooperation, intelligence sharing and disaster response coordination. Viewers. International Maritime Seminar will also focus on technology-driven warfare and blue economy security. In fact, viewers, the Vice Chief of Indian Navy has also said that India is going to have at least 47 ships added to its fleet in the next 3 years.
The ocean, a timeless connector of nations. A highway of trade, a bridge of cultures, a canvas of shared destiny. For centuries, India's rich maritime heritage shaped our journey, our vision, our strength. In February 2026, the world's eyes turn to India. Nations will gather in friendship, partnership and shared purpose. International Fleet Review, a majestic display of naval pride, where tradition meets global strength.
And that's all we could pack in this edition of Our Defense. Viewers, we'll be right back next week with more. Thanks for watching.
भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना इंडिया सोना इंडिया सोना MDH की देगी मिर्च
देगी मिर्च का तड़का अंग अंग फड़का
MDH की देगी मिर्च आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना इंडिया सोना इंडिया सोना
In a shocking turn of events over the South China Sea, 2 US Navy planes crashed into the ocean.
In Dharavi, fire is a constant fear. Tangled wires, they hang overhead. People over here, they don't have separate units like we do have in our homes. Kitchen, living room, bedroom, no. They have tiny rooms which serve the purpose of all. With always a constant danger of open flames with children sleeping next to it. One spark is enough for flames to spread through homes in just minutes. The lanes are very narrow over here. Even if scooter, if it wants to pass through, it will be very difficult for it to go through the lanes. If a mishap happens over here, if God forbid some home catches fire, then the fire truck, they cannot enter the narrow lanes. Hence, the people are left behind with no option but to combat with the situation or the fire with bare hands.
मेरा नाम मोहम्मद साइज है। मोहम्मद साइज नाम है। गली गुच्छे में अंगार लग गया, बाल बच्चे वाले नहीं भाग पाते, नहीं भाग पाएंगे। अंगार में थोड़ा ये पड़ाके से अंगार लग गया था, आज धमाका हुआ था उसका। अब बाल बच्चे वाले नहीं भाग पाएंगे, ऐसा हुआ तो भाग नहीं पाएंगे। गाड़ी अंदर नहीं आ पाई, रोड पे खड़ा किए थे, धमाके हुए थे, उसकी वजह से अंगार लग गया पूरा, बाल बच्चे वाले नहीं भाग पाए।
There's a ground over here called Koila ground. It had caught fire. As per the locals, we got to know that the fire brigade took 3 to 4 hours to reach the location. Hence, the people over here, they were left with no option but to fight with the fire with bare hands. We have seen people operating small businesses from their homes only. Hence, they have a lot of inflammable items too. And with tiny homes, they stay very close to each other. So one spark is enough for flames to spread through the lanes and risking lives of millions of people in Dharavi. But we hope that the situation will also change with time and people will get safer Dharavi.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Very good morning, viewers. Thanks for tuning in to Republic TV. We're watching live and breaking. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. And in this bulletin, we are going to focus on the Congress versus RSS, a heated argument going on there between the two after Mallikarjun Kharge wants a ban on the RSS. That has led to a heated exchange of words between the two. We'll get you all the updates on that big story and much more. Here are the headlines first. Chinese vessel spotted in Indian Ocean region. Top sources inform that Indian Navy is tracking and monitoring the situation closely. Bihar Police arrest JDU leader and Mokama candidate Anant Singh in connection with the Dularchand Yadav murder case. ISRO commences 24-hour countdown to launch of India's largest military satellite. RSS General Secretary Dattatreya Hosabale urges the union government to swiftly formulate a population policy to correct demographic imbalance. Surrendered Maoist leader Bhupati sends out a message to the active members, asks Maoists to lay down their arms. Days ahead of the first phase of polling on 6th of November, Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold a grand roadshow in Patna. And 9 injured after stabbing attack on a train near UK's Cambridge. 2 suspects arrested. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer condemns the attack, calls it appalling. Here's the top story that we are tracking. A suspicious Chinese vessel has been detected in the Indian Ocean with no listed destination, and that has raised alarms within the Indian defense circles. The unidentified ship, which appears to be a research or a surveillance vessel, is being closely monitored by the Indian Navy, and this incident has escalated concerns over China's growing presence in the Indian Ocean region and its possible strategic motives. So Chinese vessel has been detected in the Indian Ocean. What is interesting is that there is no listed destination, and that has raised alarms within the Indian defense circles. This is an unidentified ship which appears to be a research or a surveillance vessel is being closely monitored by the Indian Navy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are monitoring each and every Chinese vessel that enters the Indian Ocean region. Each and every one of them, as far as the naval ships are concerned or the research vessels are concerned. So we are aware of them. That is one. As far as holding this event concurrent to the ongoing Op Sindoor, the message is very clear that while we are in Op Sindoor and it is the operation is not yet been shut down or closed, so we are effectively deployed. Depending on what our requirements are, our threat assessment is, and that will continue to be there and will be ready to take on any eventuality as and when and if it happens. But at the same time, the Indian Navy is also going to continue with its ongoing efforts towards ensuring that all our planned activities with respect to global and regional security alignments, our friendship, our events that have been planned, continue to go on hand in hand, and we can afford to do that. That's the message that I would like to say.
All right, our colleague Ishan is now joining us for more updates on that story from the national capital. Ishan, of course, this is a vessel that is being closely monitored by the Indian Navy, that the Indian Navy has confirmed. But any more information about this unidentified ship, whether it is a research vessel or a surveillance vessel, or any more updates emerging about this vessel?
This vessel entered the Indian Ocean region during the ongoing exercises on the Western Front, the largest ever exercises after Operation Sindoor. Now, this is not a new thing that the Chinese research vessels have entered India. Anytime India does a missile test or there is a large kinetic operation, the Chinese deploy their research vessels. These vessels have a large array of sensors and have the capability of tracking the electronic signals and telemetry data of the weapons and aircraft being used. Now, these electronic warfare signals, once monitored, can be noted down by these vessels. These have long-range sensors and have the capability of looking into details of the ongoing exercises as well. We have seen that even during Operation Sindoor, a Chinese research vessel was present in the Indian Ocean region. It was the Yongwang 5 that had entered during the crucial missile testing phases in February. And we see that any time that India has a missile test or is a scheduled exercise, or there is action between kinetic action on the border, there is a research vessel present in the Indian Ocean. Now, this is the growing presence of the Chinese in these waters and Indian Ocean region. Now, these Indian Ocean region research vessels have the capability of monitoring the electronic signals, the radio signals, and the signatures of the anti-aircraft and communications between the forces. Now, this is very crucial to see, but the Indian Navy has assured that it is monitoring each and every Chinese vessel that enters the Indian Ocean, be it a research vessel or a naval vessel, and all these monitoring ships are under tight watch of the Indian Navy, which is ever present in this region. Back to you.
Right, Anishan, as far as Indian Navy's operations are concerned, yesterday we also saw the Vice Admiral of the Indian Navy talk about the ongoing modernization efforts of the Indian Navy as well. If you can just take us through them.
Absolutely, the Vice Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Vatsan, had in a press conference stated that we will be inducting 14 ships this year, 19 ships in the coming 2026, and around another 13 ships in 2027. This shows that the Indian Navy is rapidly moving towards modernization and is inducting conducting more than one ship per month, as Rajnath Singh, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh had stated in his speech earlier as well. We can see that the Indian Navy is rapidly moving towards a strong modernization effort that spans all types of vessels, from research vessels to support vessels to landing platforms and capital frigates. This is a clear indication that India is becoming a maritime superpower and is on track to become the significant power in the Indian Ocean region.
All right. Thank you so much, Sean, for all those updates there. So viewers, once again confirming that tensions really flare in the Indian Ocean after a Chinese vessel was detected near India's coastline, even as the country's major military exercise Trishul is currently underway. Now, the Navy chief has confirmed the vessel's presence, saying that the Indian forces are closely monitoring all Chinese movements. Take a look at this report. Tensions arose in the Indian Ocean after a Chinese vessel was spotted near India's coastline late Saturday, at a time when India's major military exercises are underway. The Vice Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Sanjay Vatsyan, has confirmed the presence of the Chinese vessel.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are monitoring each and every Chinese vessel that enters the Indian Ocean region. Each and every one of them, as far as the naval ships are concerned or the research vessels are concerned. So we are aware of them. That is one. As far as holding this event concurrent to the ongoing Op Sindoor, the message is very clear that while we are in Op Sindoor and it is the operation has not yet been shut down or closed.
Reports suggest the Chinese tracking vessel Yuan Wang 5 was operating in the Indian Ocean in September. As part of Operation Sindoor, the Indian Navy continues to assess all threats and challenges in the region. This development comes even as Exercise Trishul, India's mega tri-service drill, is underway across the western border and the Arabian Sea. For the first time, the Army, Navy and Air Force are operating in full coordination, simulating real war conditions, validating joint operations and testing high-temperature combat maneuvers. Fighter jets, transport aircraft, warships, submarines, drones and special forces are all part of this massive exercise. With the tensions rising, both surveillance and preparedness have been intensified, as the presence of Chinese vessel in nearby waters adds a new layer of vigilance to India's ongoing military readiness. Viewers, we have breaking news coming in from West Bengal. A man has been beaten to death in West Bengal. The victim has been identified as Ramchandra Ghoshal, son of Tarak Ghoshal, chief priest of the Raghubir temple at the Ramakrishna mission in Kamarpur, who was brutally beaten to death in public right near a police outpost. Now, shockingly, the incident took place just 200 meters from the temple during a festival organized under the supervision of a local Trinamool Congress leader, Jagabandhu Ghosh. Now, this video was shared by BJP leader Amit Malviya in a post on X. Now, Malviya slammed the TMC government and said that if such a horrific crime can happen at a place revered across the world, so close to a police outpost, what does it say about the safety of devotees and tourists who visit West Bengal?
তুই তো মারলি অবশ্যই তুই মেরেছিস তো হ্যাঁ স্বীকার কর মেরেছিস তো মেরেছিস তো হ্যাঁ আমি তো সামনে ছিল তুই মেরেছিস কিনা হ্যাঁ তুই মারিলিস আমি ভিডিওতে অস্বীকার করছিস তুই তো মারলি অবশ্যই তুই মেরেছিস তো হ্যাঁ স্বীকার কর মেরেছিস তো মেরেছিস তো হ্যাঁ আমি তো সামনে ছিল তুই মেরেছিস কিনা হ্যাঁ তুই মারিলিস আমি ভিডিওতে অস্বীকার করছিস তুই তো মারলি অবশ্যই তুই মেরেছিস তো হ্যাঁ স্বীকার কর মেরেছিস তো মেরে চিস তো হ্যাঁ আমি তো সামনে ছিল তুই মেরে চিস কিনা হ্যাঁ তুই মারিলিস আমি ভিডিওতে অস্বীকার করছিস তুই তো মারলি তুই মেরেছিস তো হ্যাঁ স্বীকার কর মেরেছিস তো
All right, right now we are joined in by Mr. Sukanta Majumdar, Union Minister, on the phone line. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on Republic TV. Sir, this is a video that we are seeing right now and showing it to our viewers. And this is clearly showing how this man was beaten to death in the state of West Bengal. What do you have to say about this video, considering the fact that this incident took place right near a police post? And also at at the premises of this is the Raghubi temple there. So what do you have to say about this incident?
See, this is the a testimony of the law situation of the law and order in the state of West Bengal. And now the state of West Bengal, people are taking the law in their hands, and these people who have been beaten. Somehow he is related to the Ramakrishna temple is there also, because that is the birthplace of Thakur Paramahansa Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So in a sacred place like that, the situation of law and order you could understand from this video. And this is the reality of the state of West Bengal, especially the law and order situation of the state of West Bengal.
Absolutely. But sir, the point is this is not the first time such an incident has taken place. Even the people who are in opposition, BJP leaders have also been beaten at public places. And this is a man that who was somebody is shooting a video, and that too so much near a police outpost. What is it really, what are you demanding from the government in West Bengal? This is absolutely horrific.
It's horrific, and as you mentioned, just nearby, the incident happened just in front of the police station. So this is the kind of activities of the West Bengal police, because this person who has beaten, somehow he must be associated with the Trinamool. So that's why police at that time police was mum, and they did not take any kind of action. So this is the as I mentioned earlier also, this is the law and order situation in the state of West Bengal. If you are associated with Trinamool Congress, you can do any kind of vandalism, any kind of crime, and police will protect you.
Right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your perspective on that big story that we are tracking in from West Bengal. This man being beaten to death in West Bengal. The victim identified as Ramachandra Ghoshal. And this incident was reported by Amit Malviya on his post on X. All right, and now let's take a look at some more news from across the nation. Here is Bharat in 1 minute.
Bharat 1 Minute, brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
As the national capital woke up under a thick blanket of smog on Sunday morning, air quality in several parts of Delhi plunged to an alarming level. According to the Central Pollution Control Board, the air quality index, or the AQI, near AIIMS and surrounding areas touched 421, placing it in the severe category as of 7 a.m. Mumbai Police have filed a case against the organizers of the Satyacha Morcha, a joint protest march held by the Mahavikas Aghadi and Maharashtra Navnirman Sena for allegedly violating prohibitory orders and forming an unlawful assembly. BJP leaders including LOP Karnataka Assembly R. Ashoka, MP Tejasvi Surya held a protest at Lal Bagh against the tunnel road project under the slogan Save Lal Bagh, Protect Bengaluru. Surya's announcement builds on his broader campaign against the proposed underground corridor connecting the Hebal Silk Board stretch, which he has criticized as a wasteful, unscientific and ineffective mobility scheme. And now an update on the face-off between the Congress party and BJP's ideological mentor RSS. And now this has escalated with the Congress party chief Mallikarjun Kharge's comment that the organization RSS should be banned. The RSS, which usually does not react to such statements, however, has responded and has said that the organization has been accepted by the country. Take a look.
The General Secretary of RSS questioned the rationale behind Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge's call to ban the organization. He highlighted that there should be a reason to ban the organization as the Sangh is regularly devoted to nation building.
वो मुझे लगता है पहले के अनुभव से थोड़ा सीखना चाहिए समाज किस दिशा में जा रहे हैं और पहले उन्होंने अभी बैन करना चाहिए ऐसे कहने वाले एक प्रमुख नेता पहले उन्होंने 3 बार प्रयत्न भी किए थे उसको समाज ने क्या कहा न्यायालय ने क्या कहा क्या मिला उससे और ये सब होने के बाद भी संघ का कार्य आगे बढ़ता गया और बैन करना चाहिए ना उसका कोई कारण हो चाहिए मुझे इच्छा हो गई इसलिए बैन करना चाहिए ऐसे थोड़ी होता है
He made the remarks during a press conference in Jabalpur in Madhya Pradesh following the organization's second day of the Akhil Bharatiya Karyakarni Mandal meet. The RSS General Secretary's comments come a few days after Kharge called for a ban on the organization as he held RSS and BJP responsible for the current state of law and order in India. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge said most law and order issues stem from the BJP and RSS.
ये हटाने के लिए हम अभी भी मांग कर रहे हैं हम ये चाहते हैं कोई ऐसी संस्था जिस संस्थाओं को वल्लभ भाई पटेल जी ने बैन किया था गांधी जी के जो मृत्यु में इन लोगों का पात्र है समझ के उन्होंने अपने पत्रों में स्पष्ट किया है लेकिन वो लोग उन लोगों को ये सरकार आज इन कर्मचारियों को इसमें आने की मदद कर रही है
Reacting to BJP leader Sambit Patra's criticism, Karnataka Minister Priyank Kharge defended the Congress's stance.
It is not Mr. Kharge's ideology. It is the Congress party's ideology that Constitution and constitutional values should be respected and protected. Now, an organization that has rejected the Constitution and wanted Manusmriti as its Constitution, how can we accept it? An organization or an unregistered NGO has no space, no place for Dalits, SC, STs, backwards, women in their ideology. How can we accept it?
Earlier, the Congress President's son and Karnataka Minister Priyank Kharge had urged Chief Minister Siddaramaiah to bar RSS activities in government schools, colleges and state-owned temples, accusing the organization of brainwashing.
Breaking news coming in. RSS General Secretary Dattatreya Hosabale on Saturday urged the union government to swiftly formulate a population policy to correct demographic imbalance. He said that, and I quote, that the government has mentioned this on an open platform and also in Parliament. He added that the sooner a population policy is made, the better it will be. So those words coming in by Hosabale at All India Executive Body meet in Madhya Pradesh's Jabalpur. Let's listen in.
जनसांख्यिकीय असंतुलन डेमोग्राफिक इम्बैलेंस इसी विषय पर देश भर में हमने कार्यक्रम किए थे डेमोग्राफिक इम्बैलेंस जो हो रहा है वो 3 कारणों से हो रहे हैं घुसपैठी बांग्लादेश से होने वाले या पाकिस्तान से होने वाले दूसरे है कन्वर्शन जो धर्मांतर के संदर्भ में आपने पूछा। तीसरे हैं कुछ समुदायों के विशेष उनके संतति के प्रमाण ज्यादा होना। ये तीनों कारणों से डेमोग्राफिक इम्बैलेंस हो रहा है और जनसंख्या के नियंत्रण की दृष्टि से पॉपुलेशन पॉलिसी करना सरकार का काम है। तो वो पॉपुलेशन पॉलिसी जितनी जल्दी होगी उतने इसके लाभ होगा।
All right, so that was RSS General Secretary Dattatreya Ozabale urging the government to swiftly formulate a population policy to correct demographic imbalance. He said that the sooner a population policy is made, the better it will be. He was speaking to reporters on the last day of Sangh's All India Executive Body Meet in Madhya Pradesh in Jabalpur. And remember, this remarks coming in after Prime Minister Narendra Modi had announced a high-powered mission to address demographic change also during his Independence Day speech. Similarly, in February 2024, during the budget speech, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had also announced a high-level committee to deliberate on the challenges of the population growth and demographic challenges. And amid these developments, RSS General Secretary Dattatreya Ozabale calling on the government to formulate a population policy to correct demographic imbalance. Now, these words gain significance. So, RSS General Secretary Ozabale calling on the government to swiftly formulate a population policy. All right, Ratan Sharda from the RSS is now joining us for more updates. Thank you so much for joining us. It is not the first time that the RSS has spoken about demographic change. It has been flagging this demographic change for long. But considering the fact that Prime Minister Modi also announced, a mission to address the demographic change, especially during his Independence Day speech, how do you look at the comments by Mr. Dattatreya Ozabale?
See, we have to look at the history of demographic change, how it changes the geography of India. If you remember, Bharat was born in 1947. Demographic imbalance led to a violent partition of Bharat. Unfortunately, at that time, the demographic partition was not applied properly. So we had imbalance starting, which Ambedkar ji pointed out. After that, wherever demographic imbalance has happened, we know what is happening in Kashmir, what happened in Kashmir. We know what is happening in Bengal. We know what used to happen in the northeast and how these things have changed, even the individual village and district level behavior of certain communities, whether it's Tamil Nadu or Kerala or Andhra. So this needs to be checked, and also the overall, if growth of the population is going to be controlled rightly for the overall growth of Bharat, then it has to be commensurate with the overall percentages. If you know how Hindus' population has gone down and minority population has gone up. So if this continues in such a short time, when the population is so huge, fall of the population may be true in most of the communities, but it is much more in case of Hindus. So this needs to be corrected if we want to see this Bharat develop evenly, and this Bharat move ahead with the peaceful society coexisting with each other.
And Mr. Dattatreya also mentioned the fact that what he said was that wo population policy jitni jaldi hogi uska utna labh hoga. That is, the sooner a population policy is made, the better it will be. Of course, Prime Minister Modi has spoken about it. Nirmala Sitharaman spoke about it earlier. However, on paper right now, nothing seems to be in place. How soon do you think that the government, should start working on a project on paper?
See, when Modi ji says something, we know that it is under works, definitely. Modi ji doesn't speak in the air. So when he said that there is a need for demographic balance, he has already something in mind, and government must be working on those fine points. And whether it takes 1 year or 6 months to come up with a policy, that's a different matter. But policy will definitely come. Naturally, we as citizens want to speed up the process. That's why the Ozabale is speaking.
Absolutely. And as far as the, Hoysabale, of course, listed reasons for this demographic imbalance. Thank you so much, Mr. Ratan, for joining us and sharing your perspective on that big story. Thank you so much.
जीरा मसाला केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा राजा और मसाला।
India is all set to conduct a large-scale tri-services military exercise named Exercise Trishul along the western border near the disputed Sir Creek area. This exercise will involve the Army, Navy and Air Force and is being called unprecedented in both scale and operational complexity. Satellite images analyzed by defense experts show that the airspace reserved for the exercise will extend up to 28,000 feet. This is unusual for a routine military drill and indicates the seriousness with which India is approaching this operation. The exercise will run from October 30 to November 10. Under the umbrella of Exercise Trishul, India's armed forces are set to conduct joint operations across diverse terrains, from offensive maneuvers in the Sir Creek and desert sectors to amphibious drills off the Saurashtra coast and multi-domain exercises involving cyber, electromagnetic and unmanned systems. The army has reportedly deployed more than 20,000 soldiers along with main battle tanks, howitzers, armed helicopters and various missile systems.
Hi there, welcome back to your favorite deep dive show on stories contemporary and consequential for India. This week, we picked two. One from the global affairs and second from domestic politics. This week marked a tectonic shift in world politics. America blinked as China played its chess, poker-faced. The Busan meeting between Trump and Xi was optics. Real victory for Beijing came through a Rand Corporation report, which we analyze. On the domestic front, AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi injected a dangerous proposition in Bihar campaign, that of proportional representation in governance. There's a history which we need to look at. You would understand why I call it dangerous. Let's get going.
Mr. President, the President of the People's Republic of China.
Good to meet you. It's a great pleasure to see you again.
Good to see you again.
很高兴在这里和你 Where?
Me too. And we're going to have a very successful meeting, I have no doubt.
This is when they met. US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping projected a picture of control of the situation, even as both sides announced victory after the meeting in Busan, South Korea. Trump, as is his wont, rather loudly, the Chinese in a more restrained manner. Even their opening comments reflected their respective styles. Trump said, "We are going to have a fantastic relationship." Xi said, "On many issues, we do not see eye to eye."
我也很高兴跟特朗普先生见面，再次当选以来30多次的互动就保持着密切的联系。在我们的共同引领下，中美关系保持重聚。前几天，两国经贸团在京都举行新语座谈，就解决各自当前的主要关切达成几个共识。因为我们今天的会晤提供了必要条件，中美两国国情不同，难免有一些分歧。作为世界前两大经济体，时而也会有摩擦，这很正常。面对风浪的挑战，我和总统先生作为掌舵人，应当把握好方向下去。当然，中美关系这次达成平稳进行。
It's a great honor to be with a friend of mine, really for a long time now. Very, very distinguished and respected President of China. And we will be having some discussions. We've already agreed to a lot of things, and we'll agree to some more right now. But President Xi is a great leader, a great country, and I think we're going to have a fantastic relationship for a long period of time.
Trump brought the tariffs down by 10% immediately on Chinese imports. The Chinese, on the other hand, said they had agreed to relax rare earth exports to the United States to some extent. Later, it was clarified that the tariff climb down was limited to fentanyl supplies penalties, which means we might be back to square one soon. Ultimately, we might have just seen Act 1 of the jousting match between the world's two biggest economies. I personally quite liked how Xi Jinping called the G2 big economies and not superpowers. Downplaying your cards is always a better strategy than overexposing your strengths, particularly when you are an underdog, which China still claims to be. In a Thucydides trap, as it is called, for geopolitical hegemony with the United States, the Chinese have played the poker little better and are perhaps the only major nation to have looked in the eye of Trump's America, matching steps on the trade war. If Trump thought he could get away with some kind of mind games just ahead of his meeting with Xi by announcing resumption of nuclear tests after a gap of 33 years, China shrugged it off with a foreign ministry mandarin counseling on restraint and leaving it there. There's a reason why China can get away with this. They are now almost equal in size. Warship for warship, submarine for submarine, fighter for fighter, dollar for dollar. And they have worked for decades to build muscle to stare down the United States. Only 20 years ago, this was not so. Sometime in 2006, the then President Hu Jintao was visiting the United States. The American press was having fun, punning on the Chinese leader's name, Hu. The state dinner became an occasion to lampoon the visiting dignitary by the Bush team, but Jintao remained unruffled. His composure was classic, bide your time, conduct, knowing fully well China was not yet there. Militarily speaking, those who knew saw it coming. There were 2 US Air Force colonels on a sabbatical at the American campus where I was doing a short-term fellowship. In between breaks, we would catch up, and the 2 officers would get animated while discussing China.
you could literally see their hearts pounding, discussing China's war machine. And this was 20 years ago. It has taken that much time for the entire DC ecosystem to come to terms with the rise of the Chinese dragon. This week, the RAND Corporation, the bellwether policy think tank sitting at the head of the American military-industrial complex, came out with a study on United States' relationship with China. It can be seen as marking a tectonic shift in American strategic thinking on managing Beijing's heft. Till now, it's been received wisdom that America is going all out to contain China. That if it comes to pass, America would militarily defend Taiwan. That the entire edifice of the Trump's tariff war has at its foundation a China containment strategy. That pivot to India was a subset of contain China strategy. That Indo-Pacific was a way to strengthen American strategic presence in the Chinese backyard. The RAND paper cuts all this noise. Hello, China. We are here to coexist, not contain. That's the message. Let me get deeper. Titled Stabilizing the US-China Rivalry, the paper argues that 6 somewhat connected principles must guide future conversations in the United States on China. 1. The US should accept the legitimacy of the Communist Party of China. And that itself is huge, given the kind of condescension one sees on the streets of New York and DC about the CCP. 2. Re-establish several trusted lines of communication between senior officials on both sides. Another proof of a humble climb down. 3. Improve crisis management practices. Now that's okay. 4. Create specific new agreements to limit friction over cyber-related issues. Well, that's a big one, given Chinese muscle in cyberspace. 5. Promote nuclear deterrence. Guess what? The paper came only days before Trump announced resumption of nuclear testing. And finally, 6. Seek modest cooperative ventures on interests that overlap or relate to humanitarian concerns. If I connect the dots through these 6 principles, there's one single theme that emerges. China has arrived, and that best American interest is served in engaging rather than containing the dragon. It is interesting that the paper delves in quite some detail on the Taiwan question. And I thought it was the hugest takeaway. Taiwan is effectively thrown under the bus. RAND not only suggests that America should stay clear, but it also goes on to reassure China that the reunification objective can be achieved without bloodshed. Chinese tabloid The Global Times had some fun going through the report. On the suggestion that America make the prospect of war as hazardous and uncertain as possible for China on Taiwan, the newspaper mocked thus, and I quote, "Perhaps the hazardous and uncertain reality is on Washington's side. The US tried and failed to inject democracy into Iraq at the beginning of this century, and just a few years ago, the US left Afghanistan as it was unable to destroy the Taliban. For anyone to argue that the US could go to war with China and come out victorious would be extremely naive." Unquote. Imagine. It does not stop there. The study goes on to accuse the Mandarin-speaking so-called China experts in Washington, D.C. to be doing a disservice to the cause of a stable US-China relationship with their hawkish positions. These respected authorities fueled an increasingly common view that Beijing had well-established specific and uncompromising intentions that make almost any form of effort to create a meaningful equilibrium on specific issues pointless, the study says. One could literally smell a CCP operation through the 115 pages, but for the fact that RAND is fully financed by the American war machine, the Department of War, the Department of State, among others. Let me summarize the three most important recommendations. 1. It rejects the notion that a victory is possible for the United States in its rivalry with China. If you can't beat them, join them. That's why the suggestion of accepting the legitimacy of the Communist Party. A geopolitical surrender of this scale perhaps happened last in 1991-92, when the USSR crumbled under its own weight. This seems like the American version of a controlled landing of a flight caught in crosswinds just ahead of a touchdown disaster. The report actually says that a military victory is an impossibility. The second key recommendation follows from the first, which is to accept coexistence. To that end, both sides should accept, in ways that are deeply ingrained and broadly shared among decision-making officials, that some degree of modus vivendi must necessarily be part of the relationship. Third is, of course, the Taiwan question. Once you have surrendered all the possibility of a military challenge, Taiwan is pretty much left to fend for itself, or thrown under the bus. The paper says it in so many words, that the United States of America should not oppose peaceful unification of Taiwan with the Chinese mainland. What the heck? The paper goes on to suggest that America should go a step further and create incentives for Beijing to pursue gradual approaches to realizing the dream of reunification. Hold on, it's still not over. Then the paper goes on to counsel Taiwan to not escalate tensions with China. The paper explicitly criticizes Taiwan's Lai Ching-te, the present president, for his statements asserting Taiwan is sovereign, and says that Washington should use its potential leverage over Taiwan to limit its activities that upset the status quo. Ditto for Philippines. The paper says that Manila should avoid provocations and that the United States should tone down its military activities in the South China Seas, or at least make them less visible. When such a think tank as RAND makes recommendations this deferential to a strategic competitor, it's not out of kindness of heart. They are anything but peaceniks. It's because they realize that the material balance of power has dramatically shifted. Brace for it. China has arrived, and America is receding in a shell. Just that it is trying to do it on its own terms of disengagement under the Trump administration. It has been a persistent theme of this show that we are living in a post-American world. If that be the case, then it is to the credit and farsightedness of the Modi government to have not bitten the American bait on the Quad or Indo-Pacific. There was this itch among some in the geostrategic community in New Delhi that let's go for it and militarize Quad, for example. Some wise men in the Modi government saw ahead and resisted. The downhill roller coaster of India-United States relations of last 9 months has proved the vision to be so right. We are in good hands. Moving on.
अगर मल्ला का बेटा उप मुख्यमंत्री बन सकता तो क्या आदम का बेटा मुख्यमंत्री नहीं बन सकता? हमको जवाब हुआ। अगर मल्ला का बेटा उप मुख्यमंत्री बन सकता तो क्या मोहम्मद का बेटा नहीं बन सकता मुख्यमंत्री? मेरे भाई, फैसला आपको करना है। 17% है, 3% है और 14% है। 14% है तेजस्वी, और आप देते हैं टिकट उनको कितना? 14 है तो 36% टिकट दिया। जो 17% है उनको क्या दिया? उनको लॉलीपॉप दिया और बोला कि बेटा चूसते रहना।
This was AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi delivering a stumpy speech at a Bihar campaign rally, or rather inciting the audience to think about community first. A deeply troubling thought, given the trauma of partition we have gone through once, owing to this very idea of proportional communal representation. At first glance, the demand appears rooted in democratic principles. After all, democracy itself is a game of numbers. But beneath the surface lies a complex history of communal representation, political tokenism, and the unintended consequences of identity-based politics, going back to our freedom struggle. What began as Jinnah's 14 points in Delhi of 1929 ended with India's asundering along communal lines in 1947. The Muslim League won the support of a large section of Muslims, a majority of those who voted in the 1946 provincial and constituent assembly elections. The election was seen as a mandate for the 1947 partition. The 14 points of Jinnah got amplified and gained mainstream currency among Muslims a year later in 1930, when the likes of Allama Iqbal picked up the thread and provided the ideological construct. According to Iqbal, the Muslims formed the most homogeneous nation within India and deserved a marked-out territory for them. This was the 25th annual session of the Muslim League in the then Allahabad or today's Prayagraj. From Prayagraj, the idea reached the University of Cambridge, where a Muslim student, Rahmat Ali, crystallized it into the name Pakistan. From 1929 to 1933, it took all of 4 years for the idea of Pakistan to take a concrete shape. The demand for proportional representation and separate electorates created a mindset that political power must mirror religious demographics, a slippery slope that culminated with 1947. Rahmat Ali was in all likelihood a British deep state operation. He was not studying any particular course at Cambridge and had no means to justify or sustain his rather lavish lifestyle in London and beyond. It was clear that the ideas and the monies came from the India office of the government looking to balkanize India before the British left. Pandit Nehru was left aghast at the 1946 results and disappointed that all the secular posturing by the Congress came to a naught. After a visit to the Bundelkhand region in the aftermath of the elections, a dejected Nehru wrote to Rajaji that for the masses of the region, it did not matter what position the leadership under Mahatma Gandhi took. They had all turned to their religion as a pivot to politics. Those Muslims who were against partition could be divided into 3 categories or groups. One, who had their heart for Pakistan, but thought that it was a logistical nightmare to mass migrate to a new land, leaving all property behind. Second were those from the Deobandi school who thought that division would weaken the Muslims of the subcontinent, as the almost parity of numbers with Hindus would get divided, and that in the independent India, Muslims would become a minority. Third group belonged to supremely patriotic Muslims who thought of India as an indivisible motherland. It is this set of patriotic or nationalistic Muslims who face the maximum brunt of abuse from both the sides, the Hindu and Muslim communalists alike. The former finding them silent supporters of the Islamists and the latter finding them lesser Muslims. It's a long list of names, hundreds and thousands perhaps. The likes of Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Hakim Ajmal Khan, Asaf Ali, Abbas Tayyabji, Saifuddin Kichlu, M.A. Ansari, Ashfaqullah Khan, just to name a few. But unfortunately, they never carried the weight within their own community the way the radicals did. The famous address of Azad from the Jama Masjid in Delhi, post-independence, where he lamented how his own community cut his hands and chopped his tongue and left him ineffective and powerless, buttresses the 1946 argument. The apologia given by those who find in the 1946 numbers the discomfort of taking the blame for partition is that this was a limited franchise of those who were the elites. The restricted franchise in 1946 was provided for in the Government of India Act 1935, according to which farmers, small shopkeepers, traders, etc. were excluded from electoral rolls. But despite these exclusions, roughly 20% of the masses were eligible to vote. of course on both the sides, Hindus and Muslims. If you look at random sampling methods utilized by psephologists these days, the size of the sample based on which they make predictions is about 1% or less. At 3%, most opinion or exit polls get it predominantly right. Which means at 20%, the Muslim franchise that voted in 1946 was representative enough of the Muslim mind at that time. But we digress. Let's pull back to the 14 points of Jinnah, of which proportional representation was one. Among them was ensuring adequate representation for Muslims in legislatures and elected bodies without undermining their majority status wherever they were present in majority. As a corollary to the representation in legislatures, the 14 points of Jinnah demanded fair representation for Muslims in government services, then required 1/3 Muslim representation in central and provincial cabinets as ministers. Jinnah wanted blanket prohibition on passing any bill opposed by 3/4 of the minority community. You get the drift. So when Owaisi says, give him a deputy chief minister in Bihar because his community has 17% vote share, it does not end there. Next would be the Council of Ministers, and then the IAS, IPS, the IFS, then proportional representation at all levels of government in the state and districts. And then, why stop at Bihar? Why not the entire country? Those 14 points marked parting of ways between the Muslim League and the Indian National Congress. Look at the irony. It was not Modi or Shah who called those 14 points ridiculous. It was Rahul Gandhi's great-grandfather, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who found them utterly divisive. Today, the Congress gets support from Owaisi in the Jubilee Hills bypolls in Hyderabad. The 14 points of Jinnah, by the way, also called for separation of Sindh from the then Bombay province. A prophetic Veer Savarkar called this a prelude to India's partition, which materialized in less than 2 decades. Coming back to Owaisi, this is not the first time that the AIMIM chief has waded into proportional representation as an issue. This is, of course, not the last time either. It is unfortunate that 80 years after independence, the Muslim leaders have to fall back on a plank that formed the root cause of the country's division. His campaign pitch has led to a comic situation where he gets attacked more by the secular cohort than the BJP. Owaisi has been called Hyderabadi biryani not by the communal right wing, but by secular Pappu Yadav, firmly aligned with the Congress and the Mahagathbandhan in Bihar. A couple of weeks back, I did a podcast with veteran journalist Shahid Siddiqui on his life in politics. He lamented the fact that he could not win from a non-Muslim seat despite all the credentials of being a liberal Muslim. And he was not Muslim enough for the so-called Muslim seats where the minorities decide the winner. This then is the crux or problematic of the issue. Not whether a Muslim can win from Simanchal in Bihar or Bhiwandi in Maharashtra, but whether a Muslim can win from Chandni Chowk in Delhi or Ahmedabad East in Gujarat. For that to happen, many stereotypes would need to be broken. Mr. Owaisi does not seem to be having the stomach for that. Thanks for watching.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार, विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
In a shocking turn of events over the South China Sea, 2 US Navy planes crashed into the ocean during what should have been normal training on the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier. The near simultaneous losses involved an MH-60R Seahawk helicopter.
The Institute of Directors brings to you the 2025 Annual London Global Convention, where global business leaders, policymakers and governance experts shape the future of corporate governance, sustainability and Indo-UK collaboration, along with the presentation of the famed Golden Peacock Awards and the Global Business Meet at the House of Lords, to be held between the 4th to the 7th November in the heart of London. 4 days of insight, innovation and international exchange, where leadership meets purpose. For more information, visit iotglobal.com.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर्नब मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
India is all set to conduct a large-scale tri-services military exercise named Exercise Trishul along the western border near the disputed Sir Creek area. This exercise will involve the Army, Navy and Air Force and is being called unprecedented in both scale and operational complexity. Satellite images analyzed by defense experts show that the airspace reserved for the exercise will extend up to 28,000 feet. This is unusual for a routine military drill and indicates the seriousness with which India is approaching this operation. The exercise will run from October 30 to November 10, under the umbrella of
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Top headlines: Chinese vessels spotted in Indian Ocean region. Top sources inform that Indian Navy is tracking and monitoring the situation closely. Bihar Police arrests JDU leader and Mokama candidate Anant Singh in connection with Dularchand Yadav murder case. ISRO commences 24-hour countdown to launch of India's largest military satellite.
नियंत्रण के दृष्टि से पॉपुलेशन पॉलिसी करना सरकार का काम है, तो वो पॉपुलेशन पॉलिसी जितनी जल्दी होगी उतने इसके लाभ होगा।
RSS General Secretary urges the union government to swiftly formulate a population policy to correct the demographic imbalance. Surrendered Maoist leader Bhupati sends message to active members, asks Maoists to lay down their arms. Days ahead of first phase of polling on November 6th, Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold a grand road show in Patna today. 9 injured after stabbing attack on train near UK's Cambridge. 2 suspects arrested. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer condemns the attack, calls it appalling. Viewers, breaking news coming in. Police will escort Anant Singh to the Patna judge's residence today. Now, due to the court being closed on Sunday, the police will escort him to the judge's residence and he will be produced before the judicial magistrate. Anant Singh will be produced after medical examination also. Anant Singh is a JDU candidate who has been arrested in connection to the Jan Suraj party supporter Dularchand Yadav, and the cops will now escort Anant Singh to the judge's residence. These are the developments coming in terms of the Dularchand Yadav murder case, where Anant Singh, the JDU candidate who was earlier arrested, will now be produced before the judicial magistrate after the medical examination. We are bringing you these back-to-back developments. The JDU candidate will be produced before the judicial magistrate today after a medical examination. As the court is closed today, it's being a Sunday, he will be taken to the residence of the judge itself, escorted by the police. Anant Singh to be produced before the magistrate. Anant Singh, along with 2 other accused associate, Anant Singh and 2 of his associates were also arrested. Operation is underway when we understand how that the opposition had lashed out at the NDA government in Bihar, and this is coming in right ahead of the polls slated to take place in a few days to come. And these are the reports coming in from Mokama, where all right, my colleague Prakash is joining us live on the broadcast for more details. Prakash, now Anant Singh is being escorted to the Patna judge's residence, and he will be taken in front of the judicial magistrate after the medical. Give us more details.
Well, yes, late last night, Anant Singh was arrested on charges of orchestrating a murder, and there were charges that one of his supporters shot him in the leg, and thereafter, please fix the echo, please. Kya yaar, shot in the leg, and the post-mortem report is concerned. He was arrested late last night along with his supporters, 2 supporters, Manikant Thakur as well as Ranjit Ram, who were the perpetrators of the crime. He was brought to Patna, and in this place, over here in the police lines, Anant Singh has been kept in one of those cells, and today he'll be produced in the court, and after the judgment of the court, he will be taken to jail. And the Patna Police SSP Kartikeya Sharma has already said that we will demand for a remand for further interrogation in this case. Now, this case has boiled up the entire election process in Bihar, because Mokama and the Tal area specifically have been crime-ridden since a long time, for the past 45 years or so. And his brother Dilip Singh was also a notorious criminal. There are charges of extortion, murders, and more than 3 dozens of criminal cases against Anant Singh. Recently, 2-3 months back only, he got a bail in a particular case of a gang war, and he's out on bail. And now he is again being sent to jail. Now, the repercussion of this entire incident will have a definite fallout on the election process in that particular area. And the Jan Suraj candidate, who is primarily Dhanuk by caste, and the Dhanuk primarily supports Nitish Kumar. We'll have to wait and watch what kind of dent he makes into the JDU's candidates' prospects as far as the elections are concerned. So the election in that particular area has become all the more interesting. Back to you.
That's right. Any reaction coming in from the JDU? Any reaction on this front?
Yes, the JDU has reacted. The JDU chief spokesperson Neeraj Kumar has already stated the fact that the law is taking its own course as far as the Mokama incident is concerned, and the police is vigilant, and that is why the JDU candidate has been arrested in this particular case.
That's right. We are, of course, tracking all those details on that story, and Prakash was bringing up us the latest developments. Thank you for giving us those details, Prakash. Let's also quickly listen into these political reactions coming in on this.
देखिए, ये तो होना ही था, ये तो स्पष्ट था। जिस प्रकार से घटना हुई है, अंजाम दिया गया है, तो ये तो होना ही था। लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री जी आज आ रहे हैं। आज भी देखिए, बिहार में, रोहतास में, आरा में पिता पुत्र की हत्या कर दी गई। लगातार जो है महाजंगल राज की स्थिति बिहार में बनी हुई है। कोई ऐसा दिन नहीं बिहार में जहां गोलियां ना चल रही। ये प्रधानमंत्री जी को नहीं दिखता है। आप सब लोगों को बता देना चाहते हैं कि हम लोगों की सरकार जो है बनने जा रही है, महागठबंधन की सरकार बनने जा रही है। 14 तारीख को रिजल्ट आने वाला है। 18 तारीख को शपथ होगा और 26 नवंबर और 26 जनवरी के बीच में चाहे कोई जात के, कोई धर्म के, कोई भी अपराधी हो, बीच में खरवास आता है। इस खरवास में सभी अपराधियों को तेजस्वी जेल भेजने का काम करेगा। सख्त से सख्त जो है कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
देखिए, ये विपक्ष को करारा जवाब है। बिहार के कानून व्यवस्था पर लगातार सवाल खड़े करने वाले लोगों को फर्क मालूम हो गया कि 90 से 2005 में अगर ऐसे अपराध होते थे तो फिर पुलिस की हैसियत नहीं थी कि वो राजनीतिक दलों के बड़े नेताओं के खिलाफ हाथ डाल सके। लेकिन एनडीए ने नीतीश कुमार जी के नेतृत्व में विभिन्न अवसरों पर जब भी कभी पार्टी या गठबंधन के किसी नेता ने कानून को हाथ में लेने की कोशिश की, कार्रवाई हुई, और ताज़ा जो गिरफ्तारी है उसी दिशा में एक बड़ा फैसला है। और निसंदेह ये दोनों ही जंगल राज का वो जो दौर है और आज के सुशासन की जो सरकार है, दोनों के काम करने के तौर तरीकों का जो बड़ा फर्क है उसको साफ साफ स्पष्ट करती है।
लेकिन देखिए, एक तो गिरफ्तारी में विलम्ब क्यों हुई, और सरकार की, चुनाव आयोग की, प्रशासन की जब फज्जत हो रही थी, लगातार श्री तेजस्वी यादव जी सवाल खड़े कर रहे थे। इसके बाद सरकार अपनी फज्जत से बचने के लिए ये खाना पूर्ति की गई है गिरफ्तारी। गोलियों की तड़तड़ाहट से दहल उठा है पूरा बिहार, चाहे सिवान में एसआई की हत्या हो, आरा में 2 लोगों की हत्या हो, रोहतास में हो, मोकामा में हो। ये गुंडा राज है। अब आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को जंगल राज का कैसेट, जो जनता का राज, गरीबों का राज था, वो कहते हैं। अब ये गुंडा राज पर बोलना चाहिए। आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का आज रोड शो था, तो ये सिर्फ दिखावे के लिए खाना पूर्ति की गई है। आखिर इतना विलम्ब क्यों हुआ, ये देरी पर सवाल खड़े हो रहे हैं। कल भी प्रचार प्रसार किया गया, तो ये सिर्फ दबाव में जो सवाल उठ रहे थे, सरकार फज्जत हो रही थी, इसके लिए खाना पूर्ति की गई है। बिहार में गुंडा राज, अपराधी राज कायम है किस तरह, ये चारों ओर दिख रहा है।
लेकिन And viewers, some breaking news coming in. Shehbaz Sharif government begins a crackdown on imams in Pakistan's Punjab, and they have asked to sign an affidavit for not speaking against Pakistan government. Now, the move is to muzzle the voices against Pakistan government and its institutions. Imams were asked to sign an undertaking by the Punjab government led by the PMLN. The affidavit issued by the Office of Assistant Commissioner Chinyor requires imams to sign that they will not participate in any anti-state or sectarian activities. As per the declaration, Imams affirm that they will not be involved in any speech against government of Pakistan, state leadership or any institution. In case of any violation, legal action will be taken against the relevant sections of the Pakistan Penal Code and Anti-Terrorism Act. Gursimran is joining me for more details. Gursimran, we are seeing that Pakistan has built a crackdown on Imams in the Punjab province. What exactly is the Shehbaz Sharif government trying to do?
See, what Pakistan is becoming an authoritarian state rather than a democracy, and now is an example where the gag has been issued. Earlier we have seen that the political parties in opposition were barred from speaking out against the government, but now the imams, the religious heads, they have also been given an affidavit, a 10-point affidavit that has been given to them by the Punjab provincial government. This comes under the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, that is headed by Nawaz Sharif. They have their government in center and also in Punjab, and now what they have asked these imams that they have to sign this declaration that states that they will never speak against the Pakistan government, the state government, and also the state institution that also includes the Pakistan Army. This comes in the backdrop of the recent ban that has been placed on the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan, after which the religious figures also came out in open and they criticized not only the Pakistani Army's brutal actions on the TLP long march that was committed atrocities upon by the Pakistani Army and the administration, but also against the Pakistani ruling government of Shehbaz Sharif and the Punjab government of Maryam Nawaz Sharif, that they have placed a ban on a group that was a religious group, though it was political, but it was mostly a religious group, Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan. So now what is happening that each and every imam that is there in the Punjab province, they are being served with these kind of affidavits that reads that they have to sign this, and if they do not abide by this, then they will be treated as terrorists. Yes, the imams in Pakistan, if they speak against Shehbaz Sharif government or Pakistan Army, they will be treated as terrorists, and the court will proceed as per the anti-terrorism law. So these are the stringent laws that are formed against terrorists will now be applied to the imams just for speaking against Shehbaz Sharif government. This is what has become the state of affairs in Pakistan, where the gag has been issued now for the religious preachers.
That's right. As we look at this crackdown on imams in the Punjab province of Pakistan, they are asked to sign this undertaken by the Punjab government. We also somewhere understand that Pakistan is rattled within, and also with being rattled, it is coming in a panic mode as well.
Yes, no doubt Pakistan is in panic mode. See what they are trying to do. First, we have seen that they have tried to actually black out media on the protests that have taken place in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Then what we have seen that there was no coverage on what Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan has done to the Pakistani armed forces. It was only a single-sided mouthpiece of the ISPR that Pakistan media has become. Now the gag is on the religious preachers. So this is a next level of the authoritarian regime that Pakistan has now become, that the democracy is just for the eyewash that they are keeping it, that the people are electing our representative, because the reality is known to all. The way PTI has been booked behind the bars, Imran Khan is not being allowed to come out of the jail, and only one party is dominating, and reason being their closeness to the Pakistani army. And now when the religious preachers have started criticizing the Nawaz Sharif government, the government of Shehbaz Sharif at center and the Maryam Nawaz in Punjab, followed by the actions of the Pakistan army, their gag orders are being issued, which they have to sign, otherwise they will be treated as terrorists in Pakistan.
All right, Gursimran, appreciate you joining us with those details on that story. We will be keeping a close track on the developments that come in. With that, we shift our focus now.
Bharat 1 Minute, brought to you by Canara Bank. Together, we can.
As the national capital woke up under a thick blanket of smog this morning, air quality in several parts of Delhi plunged to the alarming levels. According to the Central Pollution Control Board, the air quality index near AIIMS and surrounding areas touched 421, placing it in the severe category as of 7 a.m. this morning. Mumbai Police have filed a case against the organizers of the Satyacha Morcha, a joint protest march held by the Mahavikas Aghadi and Maharashtra Navnirman Sena for allegedly violating prohibitory orders and forming an unlawful assembly. BJP leaders, including Leader of Opposition Karnataka Assembly R. Ashoka, MP Tejasvi Surya, held a protest at Lal Bagh against the tunnel road project under the slogan Save Lal Bagh, Protect Bengaluru. Surya's announcement built on his broader campaign against the proposed underground corridor connecting the Hebbal Silk Board stretch, which he has criticized as wasteful, unscientific and ineffective mobility scheme. Breaking news coming in, viewers. The police have arrested former Andhra Pradesh Minister YSRCP Jogi Ramesh from his residence in the adulterated liquor scam case and are taking him to the SIT office. Now, the Andhra Pradesh police have confirmed Ramesh's role based on the statement given by the main accused Janardhan and collected evidence. In the adulterated liquor case, there is an arrest. A former Andhra Pradesh minister has been arrested by the SIT belonging from the YSRCP. Jogi Ramesh was arrested from his residence, and this is in connection to the adulterated liquor scam case. Aishwarya joins me from Hyderabad on the phone line to give us more details. Aishwarya, it's another development coming in this particular case of adulterated liquor where another arrest has been made. Give us the details.
So after the main accused Janardhan Rao had released a video saying that one of his main aides and who was responsible behind this is his former minister, YSRCP minister, and after which he was arrested today from his residence in Ibrahim Patnam is what we are learning. SIT had intensified this particular raids against and investigation against this illicit liquor scam in the past few months, and today they have made an official arrest, officially arrested this former YSRCP minister, and they have taken him into custody for further questioning. What the SIT is looking at is the financial trails and his political influence, whether he had used his political influence as well as any kickbacks he had received in this particular illicit liquor scam. So the further investigation is underway, and today they have formally arrested him after Janardhan Rao had, who is already in custody of the SIT, has given out his name.
That's right. Thank you for giving us those details, Aishwarya. We now leave it at that and shift our focus, viewers, to more news that we are tracking. BJP leaders, including Karnataka Leader of Opposition R. Ashoka and Bengaluru South MP Tejasvi Surya, staged a protest at the Lal Bagh Botanical Garden against the proposed tunnel road project under the slogan Save Lal Bagh, Protect Bengaluru.
BJP leaders, including Karnataka Leader of Opposition R. Ashoka and Bengaluru South MP Tejasvi Surya, staged a protest at Lal Bagh Botanical Garden in Bengaluru. The BJP's protest was against the proposed tunnel road project under the slogan Save Lal Bagh, Protect Bengaluru. The BJP leaders visited the location where the tunnel will pass at Lal Bagh Corner Place. Bengaluru South MP Tejasvi Surya strongly opposed the plan, calling it a disaster. Tejasvi also slammed DK Shivakumar, accusing him of rejecting key transport proposals while pushing an extremely costly 18-kilometer tunnel road project which he dubbed a matrimonial project. The Karnataka High Court is hearing the public interest litigation petitions against the project and has ordered the government to clarify its plans. The project could damage Lal Bagh, including its lake, which is a vital habitat for various species and a part of city's biodiversity.
Breaking news coming in, viewers. The DMK had called for an all-party meeting today in Chennai over the implementation of SIR. DMK has taken a stance that SIR cannot be implemented in the state with just a short time for elections, and now the AIADMK, the BJP and Vijay's TVK have expressed that they will not be attending the all-party meeting, and it is only the alliance parties of the DMK that will be part in the all-party meeting over SIR. DMK calls an all-party meeting over SIR, and there are developments regarding that. TVK, BJP and AIADMK refused to attend the all-party meeting that has been called by the DMK. Sharda joins me on the phone line. Sharda, we are seeing the fallout, where we are, of course, witnessing the fact that the TVK, the BJP and the AIA-DMK will not be attending the all-party meeting which has been called by the DMK on SIR.
Yes, the DMK leader M.K. Stalin could today call for an all-party meet that included BJP, ADMK and TVK. Just 2 days back, the DMK leader sent an invite to Vijay calling him for the all-party meet, and now, apart from BJP and AIDMK, who had earlier said that the DMK is only calling for a resolution against SIR, they wouldn't take part today. TVK has not arrived at this all-party meeting that was called by the DMK. DMK claims that the special intensive report that will be done by the ECI is only to remove the voters, especially from the scheduled caste, and calls it a malpractice against the DMK government by the AIDMK and BJP at the center. They also stated that it is only done to make sure that the DMK is losing in the upcoming elections, and that's the reason BJP wants to conduct SIR. And just a few days back, in a meeting held by the election commissioner Arnab of the state, the DMK stated that it is monsoon season right now in the state of Tamil Nadu and it is not possible to conduct the SIR in the state, while the ECI stated that it's still 6 months' time for the elections and it would be done in the phase 2 of elections like how it's been done in the other states. DMK continues to state that they won't agree the SIR for the state.
Okay, Sharda, thank you for giving us those updates on that story. We now shift our focus and get you more news coming in. Viewers, Bangladesh's Criminal Investigation Department has officially declared former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina a fugitive in a sedition case. Now, the charges stem from the alleged online communications and digital directives issued by Hasina during her self-imposed exile in India, which the authorities claim were aimed at destabilizing the interim government. In fact, the case filed under Bangladesh's stringent Digital Security Act accuses her of inciting unrest, undermining the state institutions, and coordinating with foreign entities to delegitimize the current regime. Watch this detailed report for more details.
A major diplomatic tension is heading straight towards India's power corridors. Bangladesh's Criminal Investigation Department has declared former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina a fugitive in a sedition case tied to alleged online activities targeting the interim government. This adds to the pressure on the former Prime Minister, who fled to India in amid deadly protests. Now Dhaka may soon ask India to hand her over, but for India, Hasina is not just an ally. She is the last firewall against a hostile arc stretching from Beijing to Islamabad. During her tenure, Hasina maintained a foreign policy that aligned closely with Indian interests. She resisted large-scale Chinese infrastructure loans, avoiding debt entrapment scenarios similar to Sri Lanka's Hambantota port handover. Her government notably declined Beijing's offer to build deep-sea ports and instead focused on joint ventures with India, including the Maitri Super Thermal Power Project and the Aghaura-Agartala rail link, which enhanced energy and transport connectivity across borders. These initiatives contributed to bilateral trade exceeding $15 billion in the previous year. Her government opened ports like Mongla to Indian cargo, reducing transit costs and strengthening economic interdependence. The use of inland waterways and coastal shipping routes further streamlined logistics, benefiting Indian exporters and Bangladeshi consumers alike. Since her departure, the interim administration has shown increased receptivity to Chinese investment under the Belt and Road Initiative, with Chinese engineers reportedly surveying infrastructure sites that could enhance connectivity with Pakistan. This shift risks altering the strategic balance in the region and diminishing India's influence in Dhaka. Security concerns further complicate the situation. India shares a 4,000-kilometer border with Bangladesh, encompassing sensitive northeastern states such as Assam and Tripura. Under Hasina's leadership, Bangladeshi forces cooperated with Indian counterparts to curb cross-border smuggling, human trafficking and extremist activity. Joint patrols and intelligence sharing mechanisms were strengthened, leading to the arrest of several operatives linked to banned outfits. Her administration also played a role in managing the movement of Rohingya refugees, preventing large-scale influxes into Indian territory. Since her exit, reports indicate a rise in unauthorized crossing attempts and renewed activity by Islamist groups. These developments raise concerns about potential destabilization and exploitation by external actors, including Pakistan's inter-services intelligence. The recent uptick in communal tensions and radical messaging in border districts has prompted Indian security agencies to reassess threat levels. Humanitarian considerations also factor into the equation. At 78 years old, Hasina faces legal proceedings that her supporters claim are politically motivated. International observers have expressed concern over the fairness of the judicial process and the possibility of retaliatory actions, including capital punishment. The UN Human Rights Council has previously flagged Bangladesh's use of sedition laws against political opponents, raising alarms about due process and judicial independence. Principles of non-refoulement and India's historical precedent of offering refuge to political figures, such as the Dalai Lama, may inform New Delhi's response. Extending protection to Hasina could reinforce India's image as a regional stabilizer and advocate for democratic norms. The broader diplomatic calculus involves maintaining engagement with Hasina's party, the Awami League, which retains significant domestic support. Preserving this channel could offer India continued influence in Bangladesh's political landscape. The party's organizational strength and grassroots networks remain intact, and its return to power could restore the bilateral momentum built over the past decade. Conversely, not extraditing Hasina could strain bilateral ties, disrupt economic cooperation, and create new security vulnerabilities. As her trial approaches, India faces a pivotal decision. The outcome will likely shape not only the trajectory of India-Bangladesh relations, but also the regional balance of power in the Indo-Pacific. At this juncture, India is in no position to give up.
सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा और प्योर मसाला।
In a shocking turn of events over the South China Sea, 2 US Navy planes crashed into the ocean during what should have been normal training on the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier. The near simultaneous losses involved an MH-60R Seahawk helicopter and an F-18F Super Hornet. Both aircraft operate with highly integrated avionics that depend on accurate satellite navigation, data link connectivity to the carrier, and redundant onboard sensors during launch, recovery, and maritime patrol. In the South China Sea, China has systematically layered electronic warfare systems across its man-made islands and outposts to shape the electromagnetic environment and gain asymmetric advantages short of kinetic conflict. China's deployed network combines long-range surveillance radars, shore-based jamming arrays, vehicle-mounted and portable emitters, and frequency-agile signal management nodes. These systems are configured to detect, geolocate, and interfere with a wide band of signals, including GPS, tactical data links, maritime communications, and airborne sensor feeds. The overlapping coverage from multiple outposts creates localized pockets of dense electromagnetic activity where transient interference or deliberate denial can manifest intermittently and unpredictably. For carrier-based aircraft executing precision approaches, low-altitude patrols,
टेबल टेनिस जो गेम है वर्ल्ड का फास्टेस्ट गेम है। 1 सेकंड में प्लेयर 5 बार खेलता है।
It's a unique sport as compared to other sports. I like table tennis because of the challenge there is.
The world watches the dizzying speed of the match.
तो ये वर्ल्ड का फास्टेस्ट रिफ्लेक्सिव गेम है। इसमें हैंड आई कोऑर्डिनेशन बहुत अच्छे होने चाहिए।
They track the tiny white ball.
तो टेबल टेनिस की टेबल पे बॉल उतनी ही 125-150 किलोमीटर की स्पीड में ट्रैवल करती है और आप उसका रिएक्शन टाइम बॉल को खेलने का 0.2 सेकंड।
द इनक्रेडिबल स्पिन।
इसमें फेंसिंग की तरह फॉरवर्ड एंड बैकवर्ड मोशन होना चाहिए और 100 मीटर रेस की तरह आपकी थाइस के अंदर पावर जनरेट होनी चाहिए।
the impossible returns.
रिफ्लेक्सेस आपके बहुत शार्प होने चाहिए क्योंकि आप जितनी स्पीड से बॉल खेलेंगे उतनी स्पीड से बॉल रिबाउंड भी करेगा.
But the true architecture of speed is built far from the arena floor, in the quiet precision of the mind.
ये रैकेट स्पोर्ट है तो अपने आप ही ब्रेन इन्वॉल्व है, हर नर्वस सिस्टम बहुत इन्वॉल्व है इसमें.
Guiding stars seeks the master who designs that lightning fast reaction. The guru who transforms instinct into an unrivaled reflex. He is an architect of thought, a philosopher of instantaneous decision making. Coach Sandeep Gupta has not merely trained champions, he has created a dynasty of agility. He's the Dronacharya awardee whose wisdom is sharper than any spin he teaches. This is not just a training center. This is a laboratory where human potential is refined into pure, decisive motion. Every legend must master the moment between shots.
देखिए टेबल टेनिस जो गेम है वर्ल्ड का फास्टेस्ट गेम है. इसमें आप देखिए कि 22 यार्ड यानी कि अगर टेबल टेनिस के हिसाब से कन्वर्ट करें तो हमारी जो टेबल है 3 यार्ड की है, 9 फुट की टेबल है. 9 फुट पे भी आप जिस पे वाव करते हैं कि भाई 0.6 सेकंड के अंदर क्रिकेट में अगर कोई कैच लेता है तो वो आपके लिए मिरेकल होते हैं क्योंकि डाटा स्टैटिक्स आपको सामने दिखते हैं. पर टेबल टेनिस में क्योंकि क्रिकेट के कंपैरिजन में देखा जाए तो टेबल का साइज 3 यार्ड है यानी कि 1/7 डिस्टेंस है सिर्फ अगर पिच से टेबल को कंपेयर करें तो टेबल टेनिस की टेबल पे बॉल उतनी ही 125-150 किलोमीटर की स्पीड में ट्रैवल करती है और आप उसका रिएक्शन टाइम बॉल को खेलने का 0.2 सेकंड है यानी कि 1 सेकंड में प्लेयर 5 बार खेलता है. क्रिकेट में आप एक बॉल खेलते हैं, फोकस करते हैं, अगली बॉल खेलने के लिए आपको 2 मिनट का समय मिलता है कि प्लेयर बॉल जाती है, आती है, फिर खेलता है. उसमें प्लेयर सिर्फ 5 सेकंड 7 सेकंड बॉल को फोकस करके खेलता है. इसमें आप कंटिन्यूस जब तक बॉल प्ले में रहती है कंटिन्यूस फोकस करता है और आपको 1 सेकंड के अंदर 5 बार बॉल को खेलना पड़ता है. तो ये वर्ल्ड का फास्टेस्ट रिफ्लेक्सिस गेम है. इसमें हैंड आई कोऑर्डिनेशन बहुत अच्छे होने चाहिए, फिटनेस लेवल बहुत हार्ड होने चाहिए. इसमें फेंसिंग की तरह आप फॉरवर्ड एंड बैकवर्ड मोशन होना चाहिए और 100 मीटर रेस की तरह आपकी थाइस के अंदर पावर जनरेट होनी चाहिए क्योंकि तब आप जाके टेबल टेनिस को खेलने के लिए कैपेबल हो पाते हैं.
Coach Gupta dedicated his immense focus to the nation's future. He saw raw talent wasting energy, replacing strategy with simple aggression. He brought science, speed and uncompromising precision to Indian table tennis. The Dronacharya Award was the ultimate validation of a process designed to breed world beaters.
तो आपने बॉल को के ऊपर फोकस करना है जिससे क्वेश्चन को आंसर करना है. क्वेश्चन कौन दे रहा है यानी अपोनेंट, उसको फोकस नहीं करना, फोकस आपने बॉल को करना है. बॉल किस मेरिट आ रही है, क्या स्विंग है, आपको क्या अपना बैटिंग करनी है, तो आपने को सामने वाले ने सर्विस डाली, उसमें क्या क्या सर्विस के ऑप्शंस हो लेगा, तो आप सिर्फ ऑप्शंस को तलाशिए और उसके आंसर करने के लिए फोकस करोगे तो ऑटोमेटिक जब आप बेटर आंसर कर पाओगे, बेटर रिटर्न कर पाओगे तो आप हमेशा जीतोगे.
His philosophy is built on an immovable rock. Precision is the currency of success.
I started table tennis when I was 6 years old. My dad is my role model, my mentor, everything. He is my dad only. I won 2 times US Open champion. 2 times I won US, like Guatemala, El Salvador. So he inspired me a lot. He believed that once if you lose, then only you learn better. He believes in structured training, and which is good. Since today also when I'm playing, so he keeps on guiding me. Yeah, what we can do better. You are not playing that much. Since I have moved into more coaching, so he keeps on guiding me. I'm doing social service. in my own academy.
He teaches his athletes to become mathematicians of their own game, meticulously tracking angle, anticipating trajectory, and cultivating absolute mental clarity. In this brutal sport, the true battle is won between the ears. The mind must always be faster than the ball on the table. Under the command of this wisdom, his disciples embody the ultimate pursuit of speed. They are India's Clash Titans.
दिल्ली में उस टाइम स्टेट सेक्रेटरी थे मिस्टर गौतम सिंह, तो उन्होंने मेरे से रिक्वेस्ट की कि भाई मैं चाहता हूँ संदीप कि आप है ना जो हमारा सब जूनियर और जूनियर का कैंप है दिल्ली का वो लीजिए। तो मैंने पहली बार 94 के अंदर दिल्ली स्टेट का कैंप लिया जवाहरलाल नेहरू स्टेडियम में। तो यहाँ से मेरी कोचिंग की जर्नी स्टार्ट हुई। फिर मैंने स्कूलों से टाई अप किया। हंसाज मॉडल स्कूल पहला प्राइवेट सेंटर था हिंदुस्तान का जिसको मैंने एकेडमी खोली। 95 में मैंने दिल्ली के अंदर प्राइवेट एकेडमी, क्योंकि पहले सारे ही स्टेडियम में होती थी प्राइवेट सेंटर, स्कूलों में सिर्फ स्कूल ट्रेनिंग होती थी मॉर्निंग सेक्शन। पर मैंने उनसे रिक्वेस्ट की एक मॉडल बना के दिया रेवेन्यू शेयरिंग में, जिससे स्कूल को भी बेनिफिट हो, उनके प्लेयर्स भी तैयार हो सके और दिल्ली के बाकी प्लेयर्स भी तैयार हो सके। तो हमने 95 में हंसाज मॉडल स्कूल में स्पोर्ट्स एकेडमी खोली। उसमें टेबल टेनिस की एकेडमी को मैं हेड कर रहा था। हमारे यहाँ दिल्ली के अंदर गवर्नमेंट ने काफ़ी सपोर्ट किया है, पर इनिशियल स्टेज पे टेबल टेनिस के बहुत बड़े सेंटर्स नहीं होते थे। तो जो भी स्टेट कैंप लग रहे थे, बाल भारती गंगाराम स्कूल है उसके अंदर समर कैंप और स्टेट कैंप लगते थे, क्योंकि उनके जो प्रिंसिपल थे वो दिल्ली की जो टेबल टेनिस एसोसिएशन थी उस टाइम उसके वो प्रेसिडेंट थे। वो काफ़ी सपोर्ट करते थे। समर कैंप भी वो ऑर्गेनाइज करते थे 1.5 महीने का, जो समर में 15 मई से लेकर 30 जून तक लगता था। तो उसमें दिल्ली के जो भी टैलेंट हंट होता था, टॉप प्लेयर्स के साथ साथ जो न्यू कमर्स आते थे जिनको अपनी गेम को इम्प्रूव करना होता था या अच्छा करना होता था, वो लोग धीरे धीरे उस कैंप को अटेंड करते थे और वो बेस बनता था कि दिल्ली में आगे आने वाले प्लेयरों को एक सही प्लेटफॉर्म दिल्ली की जो टेबल टेनिस एसोसिएशन थी वो प्रोवाइड करती थी। तो ये चैलेंजेस थे। फिर जब मैंने शुरू किया तो क्योंकि प्राइवेट सेंटर नहीं होते थे, स्कूलों में सिर्फ स्कूल्स की क्लासरूम में जो भी पीटी पीरियड होता था उसमें ही बच्चे खेल पाते थे। तो मैंने वहाँ उस टाइम प्रिंसिपल्स हमारे हंसाज मॉडल स्कूल की बहुत अच्छी थी, कुछ मोल वालिया, उनसे रिक्वेस्ट की कि मैम इवनिंग सेशन खाली रहता है, अगर हमें यहाँ पे 4-5 आवर्स ट्रेनिंग करें तो हमारे प्लेयर्स टॉप लेवल प्लेयर्स बन सकते हैं, क्योंकि खाली स्कूल से तो आप टेबल टेनिस सीख सकते हैं पर टॉप प्लेयर नहीं बन सकते। तो उन चैलेंजेस में जैसे टेबल्स की दिक्कत होती थी तो हम लोग पेरेंट्स से रिक्वेस्ट करते थे, शेयर करते थे। फिर हॉल में एसी लगना था तो पेरेंट्स रिक्वेस्ट की कि भाई आपके बच्चे खेलते हैं, अगर आप लोग सब लोग कंट्रीब्यूट करके शुरू करें तो बच्चों को एसी में खेलने को मिलेगा और वो ज़्यादा परफॉर्म कर पाएंगे। क्योंकि दिल्ली के अंदर जब गर्मी होती है, मई जून की होती है, अप्रैल में होती है, बहुत हॉट वेदर होता है और हमारे टेबल टेनिस में हवा नहीं चल सकती, तो पंखे तो चल ही नहीं सकते। तो वो एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज होता था। बट धीरे धीरे परफॉर्मेंस करते गए, स्कूल का नाम हुआ तो स्कूल ने भी इनिशिएट किया, जो उस टाइम प्लेयर्स खेलते थे उनके पेरेंट ने भी कंट्रीब्यूट किया। तो धीरे धीरे उन हर्डल्स को पार किया, उनसे प्लेयरों ने नेशनल फिगर्स में मेडल जीते। तो जैसे जैसे स्कूल के प्लेयरों का नाम हुआ, स्कूल के मैनेजमेंट ने भी स्पोर्ट्स के ऊपर एक्सपेंसेस को मीट आउट करने के लिए खर्चे करे बहुत अच्छे। फिर जब हमें एक अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म मिला, अच्छी जगह मिली, एसी हॉल हुआ, धीरे धीरे सारी हर्डल्स को पार करी, तो फिर हमने देश को टॉप प्लेयर्स दिए। उसमें से मनिका बत्रा है जो कॉमनवेल्थ में आज खेल रत्न अवार्डी है, नेहा अग्रवाल है वो ओलंपियन रही है, पहली ओलंपियन थी, उसको देख के मनिका बत्रा ने खेलना सीखा। नेहा अग्रवाल लगातार 7 साल नेशनल चैंपियनशिप के अंदर फाइनल खेली, जीती और यंगस्टर ओलंपियन प्लेयर बने इंडिया से।
They have mastered the dual life of the table, control and aggression. Coach Gupta doesn't just train the athlete, he trains the mind, ensuring the instantaneous logic required for the match is the same logic required for life.
देखिए टेबल टेनिस एक स्पोर्ट है, आप 24/7 खेल सकते हैं। घर पे भी आप डाइनिंग टेबल पे भी बुक्स रख के खेल सकते हैं, एंजॉय कर सकते हैं। और खाली टेबल टेनिस खेलने में हारी जीत नहीं होती, आप अपनी लाइफ में डिसीजन मेकिंग पावर स्ट्रॉन्ग कर लेते हैं, फोकस आपका इंप्रूव हो जाता है। जो एजुकेशन आप 2 घंटे में किसी चीज़ को याद करते हैं वो आपका आधा घंटे में लगता है, क्योंकि हार्डेस्ट फास्टेस्ट रिफ्लेक्सेस इसमें रिक्वायर्ड है। फोकस आपको ज़्यादा करना होता है, बॉल को कंटिन्यूस वॉच करने में, तो ब्रेन की स्पीड बढ़ जाती है, शार्पनेस हो जाती है।
His players master spin, placement and power. They are the champions who dominate the milliseconds, converting impossible defense into inevitable attack.
मैं टेबल टेनिस 15 ईयर से खेल रहा हूँ, तो बॉल और बैट का जो कनेक्शन है, ये हैंड आई कोऑर्डिनेशन, तो बचपन से ही मतलब मैंने फर्स्ट किंडरगार्टन जो यूकेजी होता है, वहीं से मुझे इंटरेस्ट था खेलने में। तो धीरे धीरे इंटरेस्ट डेवलप हुआ, फिर एकेडमी ज्वाइन करी, तो अच्छा लगा खेल के कि बॉल और बैट का जब कनेक्शन होता है, साउंड बहुत अच्छी लगती थी मुझे उसकी। तो उससे मैं धीरे धीरे मैं इम्प्रूव भी होता गया। तो कॉम्पिटिटिव जब मैं खेला तो मेरा मेडल भी आया, तो रैंक बननी शुरू हुई। तो धीरे धीरे फिर सर के पास एकेडमी में यहाँ पे सारे रैंक प्लेयर्स खेलते थे, तो मुझे भी मोटिवेशन आती थी कि मैं भी इंडिया के लिए खेलूँ, अपनी इंडिया रैंक बनाऊँ, दिल्ली रैंक बनाऊँ। तो मैं सब जूनियर में मेरी इंडिया रैंक 5 थी, फिर मैं अंडर 17 में भी मैं इंडिया रैंक टॉप 8 मैंने मेंटेन करी, यूथ में भी मैंने टॉप 8 मेंटेन करी। तो अब मैं सीनियर्स खेल रहा हूँ कि मैं इंडिया के लिए ओलंपिक्स में और कॉमनवेल्थ में मेडल ले आऊँ, तो रिकॉग्निशन मिले। दिस इज़ माई अल्टीमेट एम।
They arrived with potential, and Coach Gupta gave them the structure to turn raw instinct into international dominance. The core of this tradition is the sanctity of the guru-shishya relationship.
गुरु शिष्य का बाप बेटी की तरह ही एक रिलेशन डेवलप होता है, क्योंकि आप हार्श भी होते हैं, क्योंकि बच्चा